Whoops. Sorry. I'm here. Sorry. Hi, Meteorite. But yeah, welcome. I'm on the final part of episode 2 today. And last week, I got to see some interesting revelations, so yeah. So getting there? Yeah. This is the whole final bit of the episode 2. And I tried checking parts, and it's 2 parts, so it might be pretty long today, but we'll see how long this goes. Or we'll see how this goes. I think usually parts on their own are like about 2.5 hours or so. With 2 parts is probably gonna be probably like a 4-hour or 5-hour session, so we shall see. So, what did we learn last time? During the investigation section, we were going over stuff with Olive Green, and she seems to know Shamspear, and she had she was supposed to possibly meet somebody at like a bar nearby or something, and definitely seems like it's hinting towards it being William. So it's very unfortunate that she got accidentally stabbed from the last game when the house is the Mr. Garadeb, the owner of the house, said his wife was in a blind rage and she accidentally threw a knife out the window and it flew out and hit her in the back, so unfortunate timing on that part, but like, you know. We did learn a little bit more about the stabby Olive Green, so yeah, it seems like she's more deeply tied to this case than I was initially expecting. Well, I mean, I should be expecting it. She showed up at the beginning. And she didn't really have too much elaborated on her from the get-go, so yeah, and it seems like that her boyfriend mysteriously was killed in his sleep by asphyxiation. And we know that Natsume's going through a similar situation as him, where like the pilot light in his furnace, or not furnace, but his stove is going out, so then his room's getting filled with gasoline, so he might also be subjected to the possibility of suffocating too, so we don't, I don't know. And then I don't really understand how Shamspear is getting poisoned, but we know that Olive has poison, so it's something probably tied to that. Maybe she was in the hospital, she had access to it, but then I don't necessarily know whether or not she had access to the poison before that, right? So it's just like, what could it possibly be, and how does this happen? The tea, we're gonna find out whether or not it was poison, and I'm pretty sure it's not. So at this point, I'm just kind of rambling. So I think it's probably just good to go into the continuing of the game. So let's just get in there, shall we? '23rd of February. Oh God! Hi, Natsume. Also, I got my new controllers came in. My new Pro controllers came in. So, I'm playing with a new one, and it feels nice. My other one has been getting very worn out. That close up, right? Fucking jump scare.
This is it then, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes! It's time to put an end to this show now, to the miserable curse that's been plaguing Mr. Natsume. To everything!
And in my own small way, I shall do everything I can to help you.
I always appreciate your help, Mrs. Sato. Except for Soseki selfishly sidelined! Good morning to you too, Mr. Natsume. I'll never get tired of his posing. It's just so funny every time. Good morning! Good morning, local student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire! Listen to you two, chatting away happily as if the main player of today's trial isn't here. Why would you do that? Why?
Oh dear, we didn't mean to cause offense, Mr. Natsume. I thought perhaps that because you had your eyes shut so tightly, you were meditating, finding inner calm? It seemed wrong to disturb you.
I was waiting! What's the matter, Mr. Natsume? You seem different somehow today. Why, naturally, that's because I have attained spiritual enlightenment. The path of literature, you see, is a journey to discover one's own death. Or such like. That's the sort of morning conversation I was hoping for. That's why I had my eyes shut.
I missed the signs, I'm afraid, somehow. You'll have to forgive me. And you mustn't talk of your path leading you to death, Mr. Natsume.
That was just an example!
Oh, yes. There it is. Inner calm.
You barely came to see me at all yesterday. Huh? I was sure you'd abandon me and return to our long-lost homeland.
We've not even been in Great Britain a week yet, though. Yes, well, anyway. I intend to set everything straight in court today. I'm determined to uncover the truth.
I've naturally reached an important decision myself.
Oh? What sort of decision?
I shall fill you in after the trial.
Alright. It would seem Mr. Sholmes isn't coming today after all. It's a very clever message, I think. My dear fellows, you must win this battle on your own merits.
It's a very clear message, I think, that he's overslept again. The great detective, my arch nemesis. Long may he stay away, if you ask me. Defendant and your legal representative, the trial is about to begin. Make your way into the courtroom immediately.
Today, once again, we face the Reaper. And when the Reaper stands for the prosecution, the defendant's fate is sealed. But I don't believe in that legend any more than I believe in Saseki-san's curse. The truth is hidden here somewhere, and I won't let it escape me. I have to keep believing in my client, and keep fighting to the very end. That's all. I wonder... Well, Natsume's mentioning a big decision, and we know in the first game that eventually he decides, well, he's going home, so... I guess that's probably what he's going to be discussing later. At least that's my guess.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is ready. Yes, the defense is ready.
Very good. And now I call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury, chosen by lot to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to proceed? Absolutely. Justice will be done, you mark my words.
I feel obliged to say, I feel especially ruthless on days when my hat is sitting just right. Oh, I wonder if you could just adjust my hat for me, and please, be as ruthless as you like. Thieves deserve to die if you ask me, especially gas thieves. I have no sympathy for the man at all.
Look, I said it yesterday and I'll say it again now. I don't have time for this. I've got my own problems.
Oh, may the Lord show us all the light here, and lead his flock to a righteous verdict again today. Now, Lord Van Zieks, what can you tell us? The prosecution's report, please, for the court. In relation to the theory expounded by the defense yesterday regarding the defendant's tea,
So he does have the results.
Let me just get some wine in on this. I gotta drink a bit. Before the prosecution delivers the black news about the black tea belonging to the black guard in the dock. Pray allow me a moment to savor a liquid of a more sanguine hue. In fact, I'll defer to the good detective for the report. Here's to you, Inspector.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. As indicated by the defense, we found a bar of soap just outside the victim's window in the snow. And there was indeed a frozen, reddish liquid in a little depression on the top of it.
Yes, that's the tea. That's what Mr. Natsume brought with him that night.
Well, the brains at the yard analyzed it, and yes, you're right, it was tea. And there wasn't a trace of starchine or any other toxic substance in it.
No poison at all?
In other words, the tea that the defendant brought with him to the victim's room is innocent. It's in the clear.
What a revelation!
Ooh, here we go again, swapping between voices as quickly as possible.
As I suspected. This makes it quite clear. The defendant, Mr. Saseki Natsume...
Oh, okay. My learned friend is jumping to conclusions again. A typical Japanese reaction.
What?
Yes, it's true no poison was found in the few drops of liquid recovered from the soap on the windowsill. But, what logic is that? Would you take a drop from the Thames and conclude that the water in the ocean isn't salty?
My word! That water in the ocean is extremely salty, Counsel.
He's like, God damn it! No, he's like, exactly! Fucking God damn it! Exactly. Unfit for drinking, just as the victim's tea was on the night in question, as the court has already heard. Bitter was the precise words from the lips of Mr. William Shamsphere, whom the prosecution now calls back to the stand. Oh, really? Okay. We're gonna call him back immediately.
Very well. I will uphold the prosecution's request. Mr. Shamsphere.
Yes, it sounds like we're going to have to deliver. We're going to have another confrontation with our theatrical friend.
Bailiff, show Mr. Shamsphere to the stand.
Oh, there he is. This goofball. He's back. Mr. William Shamsphere, the victim of this despicable crime. Oh heaven! Oh hell! Do you command me to remember? Forsooth, 'twas I, Shamsphere! Did I have a belly full of the foul fluid given in mine innocence?
Yes, but as was revealed in yesterday's proceedings, the witness is not as innocent as we had perhaps first been led to believe.
By using bars of soap such as this, he has been stealing gas from the supply company, yes. One may smile and be a villain. Forsooth, 'twas I, Shamsphere, did have a room full of the sweet fuel giveth.
That's right, fellow jurors, don't forget, this man is a rotten thief.
I haven't forgotten. Kept all that about the ice coins a tight secret, did you? You should have owned up sooner.
Arrest him, I say! Arrest him at once! And let him feel the sting in my tail!
Oh, indeed! By dint of vil and cowardly means have I plotted to further mine own ends, I confess. Thou wouldst not pardon my sins, of what I am sure. If you acknowledge your wrongdoing, what exactly are you doing here? Cowards die many times before their deaths, and for a coward such as I, death be well deserved. But would it that a still greater crime passeth unpunished?
For lo, the hairy-faced gentleman of farther east in Verona did contrive to poison me. But there was no poison in tea found in your room. The police have attested to that.
What the defense would assert as an inconsistency will quickly be cleared up by the witness's testimony. Is that not so, Mr. Shamspeare?
Verily, my liege, I would most gladly speak.
Very well. Let the witness testify to explain this inconsistency. Tell the court why it is that the poison apparently entered your body, though none was found in the tea.
Oh boy, okay, here we go.
The Japanese man did come to my chamber with tea brewed in a pot. 'Twas in my cup alone that the wicked miscreant secretly poured his wicked poison. Whilst feigning distraction in our debate, ne'er did a drop of his own drink pass his lips. When he departed by and by, I did use the tea that remained in his cup to make my coins of ice. Thus, 'tis no surprise that poison be not found in the tea I did pour into the molds of soup.
Oh, okay, I see your angle here, Mr. Shamspeare. The poison was slipped into the cup after the tea had been poured. The normal way for poison to be administered in my experience.
Quite. Otherwise, it would be disastrous if the poisoner were to mix up the cups, for instance.
But no poison bottle was found in the scene.
Because, quite simply, the Nipponese took the bottle back to his own room. The absence of a vessel containing the poison only becomes problematic when considering suicide.
Ugh, I knew that.
By now it should be perfectly clear. Bar or two of cheap soap is wholly insufficient to wash the deep stains of guilt from the accursed's hands.
Ugh! Sirs, madams, 'tis true that I, Shamspeare, be a common thief of gas. But, listen here, ladies and gentlemen.
I wonder if, like, that staff is, like, cheap, that he's able to bend it like that, or it's, like, actually it's really metal. Like, really good metal, and he's just really good at, he's just strong enough to bend it, you know? Wherefore would I lie? Verily, I have no cause. I have naught to lose.
Well, I do declare.
Thank you for your testimony, witness. Counsel, proceed with the cross-examination.
Yes, my lord.
Whew. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Japanese man did come to my chamber with tea brewed in a pot. 'Twas in my cup alone that the wicked miscreant secretly poured his wicked poison. Whilst feigning distraction in our debate, ne'er did a drop of his own drink pass his lips.
Hold it!
But how do we know that for sure? What do you mean?
But the teacup Mr. Natsume drank from was found completely empty at the scene. And let's not forget the defendant's maxim. Drink tea while it's hot. I did gulp from the poisoned cup that night, and in mine agony did I writhe uncontrolled. In fits of pain I did knock the fellow's cup, and its contents spilt his blood from a gaping wound, methinks. Though certainly 'twas after I had made the coins of ice from his tea.
An upset cup was found on the table that the victim was stumped over. There is no contradiction here.
It's true, there was no tea left in either cup that we found at the scene. But still, something about this statement is troubling me.
Yes, of course! I know what it is. It's Mr. Natsume's wise drink tea while it's hot maxim, isn't it?
No. I'm not sure that's it.
Thank you, witness. Now I'll reiterate before the court that what it is that occupied you after your guest had left before you drank your tea.
Okay, so seeing how when we pressed on this statement that, well, we pressed on that statement and sorry if my mind's blanking. Misato pointed out that that one seemed kind of important, and like of course as Naruhodo we said the wrong thing, but but yeah, I think her pointing it out is a very good thing to note. So looking at the teacups is a good, okay, so there is a clear difference between these two cups for sure.
This is the teacup from which Mr. Natsume was drinking.
Yes. Unlike the other one, the inside of this cup is completely clean. I suppose you must have drunk the contents before the tea had a chance to leave a mark. I always gulp it down too.
Sorry, Mr. Naruhodo.
Well,
Oh, sorry?
oh, well, if you just sip it little by little, it goes cold.
Clearly, I shall have to instruct you in the proper way to take tea.
Oh, and it even updated the data that the teacups used by Mr. Chancery and Natsume, there was no ring on the inside of Mr. Natsume's cup, which means that he drank it right away. This is very important to point out. Nice. Do we have any other things to examine while I'm in the examine menu? I don't think this kinds of evidence don't really have anything to inspect, so... Anything more about the bar soap? Well, we now know that the debit's here, so... The soap is looking at me with one hollow, 2-centimeter wide eye.
How poetic, Mr. Naruhodo. All the literary references we've been hearing are starting to rub off, I think.
Really? Whoever would have thought of using this depression to make coins of ice? Oh, you meant really? Then I kind of... I see.
It was clearly one of those ice coins that was in the soap when we first found it, wasn't it? Although, it was a sort of reddish color, I seem to remember.
Okay, so I don't think we're gonna really use this bar soap for a bit. And this is more of a case of examining things. Okay, so we know he has this fork because he was pulling out the coins from the soap bars, and then we know about the water because that's what he was putting the ice coins in, and that's just a huge stain. Is there anything else of note in this photo? Head plopped down on his right side. I don't know if that'll be important, but we'll keep that in mind. Let's see. We already know about the gas meter. I don't think re-examining it will really yield much results. I'm still very puzzled about the handprints because it seems he does this pretty consistently and pretty often enough that he touches the wall a lot. So like, what is this about? And it's right next to all the gas related things. So it's like the lamp has like evidence of some fingerprints, and then even the gas meter, but not, well, actually thinking about it, this pole right here has like a lot of evidence of it being touched too. So like even more so than the gas meter, which is kind of surprising because that's where all the coins go in. So what is this tying to this about, I wonder? That's my question. And then we know that a prisoner died in the room that Natsume is staying in, and that's the curse. And this is the guy who rented it before, who was Olive Green's boyfriend. Fiance, I think it was. But anyways, let's oh yeah, this is the right statement. Okay, let's present this.
Objection!
You claim that Mr. Natsume didn't drink a drop of tea on the night in question. But that's impossible. How? Chop logic? What is this? You clad friend? Oh, fiend? Sorry. The two teacups from the scene, one used by the victim and the other by the defendant, have a clear difference between them. One that represents incontrovertible proof.
Incontrovertible? What difference?
Look at the inside of the cups. Just here, there's a clearly visible ring.
Yes, a tea ring. Commonplace enough. Indeed. Such stains occur all too readily when one leaves tea in the cup for a while.
And yet, Natsume's cup has no such ring.
Good lord, you're right! It's completely clean!
And prithee, sir, what makest thou of it? Exactly what Mr. Natsume told the court yesterday. The Japanese saying he quoted, "Drink
Tea? While it's hot!
That's right! Yes. The jittery Mr. Natsume was true to his usual self that night, and drank his tea in no time. If, as you claim is your testimony, he didn't touch a drop of his tea, a ring would have developed on the inside of his cup as well, after the several hours the tea was left standing. But, in short, Mr. Shamsphere, you clearly lied to the court! Get thee to a nunnery!
Objection!
Got him. I'm spilling water on myself.
As a rule, I fill my hollow chalice up to 7 times during any one trial.
That's just asking to get drunk, sir.
You might want to keep that information to yourself.
Van Zeeks must have, like, godlike tolerance or something. To, like, keep drinking during trials.
Yet on occasion, tedium distracts me and I pour more times than I intended until the bottle is dry.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Your drinking habits are fascinating, but irrelevant.
On the contrary, they illustrate the fickleness of human memory. To William Shamsphere.
Yes, my liege.
Though you previously stated that you made the coins of ice from the leftover tea in the accused cup, could it be that you were perhaps mistaken?
Eh?
Could it be that, yes, perhaps there was some tea remaining in the small teapot left at the scene? A fact that had vanished from your memory until now?
Faith, my liege, thou art a magician. For verily, 'tis as though thou hast seen with thine own eyes that night.
Oh god.
What? Forsooth, I was mistook. I did plan to use tea from the Japanese fellow's cup, but lo, when I looked, 'twas empty. And thus did I use the dregs that festered in the pot, as my liege did suggest.
Objection!
What pot?
And you've just suddenly remembered now that you made a mistake before?
Are we supposed to believe that? Yeah, seriously though.
People's memories are imperfect, my learned friend, which is why we rely on evidence instead. But in any case, it makes no difference. The victim's most recent testimony tells us two things of note. Firstly, that the poison was put into the victim's teacup only. And secondly, that this spoiled cup was not the source of the insipid ice coins that have bewitched this court. The prosecution makes a fine summary of the facts. Furthermore, that testimony remains valid and in full support of the established facts. In other words...
Ooh, there he goes.
The inconsistency claimed by the defense simply does not exist.
No!
What does he mean then?
I do declare means that there's no issue with the ghost thief's testimony.
Apart from the bit about David Gash, obviously.
My lord, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I do solemnly swear, after I did dine at Grubb's Grubbery Alehouse that night, naught did pass my lips but the black tea given me by the Japanese whose back be stooped as low as death. Wait, what'd he say? Where? Grubb's Grubbery Alehouse. Grubb's Grubbery Alehouse. Ah, damn, we don't have Olive's note. I don't remember where the note mentioned that he was going. Or where, not him, but where she was supposed to meet somebody at. But if it's an alehouse, then that's a bar. So could it really was him, maybe?
And on what did you dine, sir?
Why, I did partake of my favorites. A broth, as wouldst be called soup, and a leaf, as wouldst thou be called salad. As insalubrious a menu as the establishment where it was served. But you gods will forgive us some fault to make us men. Willingly would I suffer what punishment 'tis seen fit to serve a wicked thief of gas. But I pray ye wise and noble fellows, ne'er forget the simple truth. That be one thing, and this be another. Oh no. Jurors all, your humble servant Shamsphere doth entreat you, punish the Japanese fellow for his sins. My lord, I'm gonna guess this is juror 1 probably, because I think they're getting convinced. Yup, it is.
If I may speak, my lord. Yes, for Mr. Foreman. I believe we may have been duped by that rotten defense lawyer.
By me?
I do declare you may be right. We all know the wife there was making corn. We know the wolf there was making corn device to keep himself warm.
But this lawyer, lad says he's stealing gas. He deserves a dose of poison, eh? He's been leading us up the garden path. That's what he's been doing.
I really never said anything like that.
But what we just heard from the victim there has opened our eyes again. We've reached a decision this time, and we won't be swayed from it. The court acknowledges the position of the jury foreman, and I will duly hear the jury's findings.
What? No! You can't yet.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your decisions now.
Guilty!
Yep.
Guilty.
Yep.
Guilty.
God damn it.
Guilty.
God damn it.
Guilty.
Damn it.
Guilty!
These bastards. Damn you all.
I hereby declare the jury to be in one accord.
Objection. Exactly me here. Why? Oh, happy day. God damn it. It's time for the summation examination. How is this happening? My lord, the defense asserts its right to carry out a summation examination.
Very well. The court upholds the defense's right.
Typical. My learned friend is unable to accept the obvious truth.
This trial will therefore enter its second summation examination immediately. Jurors, the court calls upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime on which he is charged.
Oh my god.
Here we go again.
I'm imagine logic, mate, and having considered all the evidence, the defendant must logically be guilty.
I do agree that the gas is far too expensive. I can quite understand why the man would want to avoid pain. This stuff explodes and it can poison you. It's absolutely lethal, gases. Gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver it around the city and maintain the pipes.
Truth be told, the tea my wife serves up for me is a little sketchy at times.
If nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there?
The old man character on the far right for the last juror, he's like my favorite person to do voice because I really
like doing this voice, you know. It's just so fun to do. I forget. What was I saying?
You know? It's very, very entertaining voice to do. Anyway.
I do feel that...
Oh, whoops, sorry.
I do feel that perhaps personal opinion about gas and its supply has influenced decisions somewhat. But never mind.
No, you really shouldn't mind. Please do your job, Judge. Please.
The truth is, our counter-argument wasn't as unassailable as we had hoped. And Mr. Shamsphere was poisoned. There can be no doubt of that.
Then how are we supposed to turn this around?
I think we need to establish the method by which Mr. Shamsphere was actually poisoned. Our only hope is to demonstrate that to the court
incontrovertibly. Oh god, I always have a hard time reading that word for some reason.
But
that's surely almost impossible at this stage.
If we don't manage it, though, Mr. Natsume will
be found guilty.
No delays, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination.
There he is, just doofing off in the background. Again. Oh, it's just so funny every time. Okay, so he's saying he's considered all the evidence. Logically, he must be guilty. I just want to hear more of his point, you know?
All the evidence, you say? That's right, and there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing all at the Japanese man with the big mustache.
Says the Englishman with the bigger mustache.
Which means we need to show the man some new evidence to make him change his mind.
If only we had that kind of evidence.
Don't worry, the summation examination has barely started, really.
Yeah, we literally only really interrogated one person. No, though.
Perhaps there'll be a shift in the situation that allows for an existing piece of evidence in a new light.
Shows an existing piece of evidence in a new light. Reading hard. Anyways. Let's hope so. To start with, though, I need to find some way out of this deadlock. I do agree that the gas is far too expensive. I can quite understand why the man would want to avoid paying. Ma'am, this is like, not anything to do with anything, but I will still press you on it. This isn't the time or place to be discussing the price of gas, madam.
But really, think of the injustice. Air is a gas and air is free. Why should ultimate gas cost money? It makes my blood boil. I can feel myself becoming more ruthless than ever.
This isn't the time or the place to be ruthless either. This woman sounds like somebody on Twitter. Like, honestly, that argument is like a Twitter argument in terms of logic.
If I might interject here.
Huh? Yes, madam?
It seems my fellow juror takes issue with the price of our company charges for gas. But it's precisely because of thieves like this man that the cost goes up. Oh, what a beastly man. That unkempt mustache, those hunched shoulders, poisoning tea and stealing gas, utterly unforgivable.
No, Mr. Natsume is the one who's been stealing gas. I'll thank you not to go adding on more crimes.
Mr. Natsume hasn't poisoned tea. Hasn't been poisoning tea either. Well, anyway, I've quite made up my mind. It's as made up as the price of gas.
This woman is insane. Okay, you know what? This statement, actually reading it again. Yeah, this stuff explodes and it can poison you. It's totally lethal. Yeah, and then we did have a character who... We do have a guy who actually died from gas asphyxiation, and it's this guy on the right. So, like... You know what? Maybe he has a little bit more to say based off that. I don't know.
Can we please talk about the poison rather than the gas? Do you think, sir?
Well, if you like, I mean, to be honest, I'd take poison over gas every time.
You take poison?
What I mean is, poison can only poison you. It doesn't explode, does it? Goodness me, what are you talking about? Set him straight, please, lawyer man.
Well, it's certainly true that poison isn't prone to exploding. But I think you'll find poison can't light or heat up a room.
You're right. I hadn't considered that at all.
This man's an idiot.
Young lawyer man,
Yes?
you have a good head on your shoulders. We could use someone like you as our company legal representative.
Oh, that's a nice compliment. Thank you. And she does seem like she's really on the up and up. It's also with the workers respect her so much, you know?
Ah, water. Well, I wasn't expecting to pick up more business in the middle of a trial, that's for sure.
Anyway, the point is, I haven't had the best experience with gas companies in the past.
Okay. I think she's fine. I don't think we have to like, press her. I think she should be fine. But watch me get completely wrong by that. Like how every time I think that old man has nothing to do with anything, he always says the statement you have to cross it. Anyways.
You mean it's poisoned?
That's right. It happened a tiny few times now. This is the most troubling indeed. It's always days like this one when I don't get any wages. I get in at tea time, see? And I see her doing it. My wife. She gets that devilish look on her face, and she slips some white powder into my cup.
And you drink it anyway?
I was brought up proper, I was. If someone gives you a cuppa, you drink it.
And what happened to you? What did it taste like?
It was god-awful, believe you me. Salty as hell.
This man's an idiot.
Then I think perhaps what your wife put in your tea was salt.
No! So, she doesn't even care enough to poison me properly, eh? Unbelievable. Let's move on, please.
If nothing, okay, this is like the first time old man, like, you know, several cases where like you've actually added something in, like, said something profound within your actual statement.
Does that mean that if the victim could be shown to have ingested something else, you change your leaning?
Sorry? What's that now?
Oh, I was just saying, if the victim did actually eat tea or drink something else on the night.
What's the matter with you?
Sorry?
I said, if nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there? Haven't you been listening to me at all?
I feel there's an English expression about a pot and a kettle that's appropriate here.
Compared to the other jurors who don't even appear to have anything to say about the case at all, it would seem that this elderly gentleman has been listening to the proceedings far more intently.
Yeah, for once.
I suppose. The trouble is,
He has selective hearing?
Exactly. But still, this juror may well be the key to the breakthrough that we so desperately need. Ugh, this is hopeless. There's no way for me to appeal to these people.
I do think that the only way that we shall overcome this difficult situation is by exposing the way in which Mr. Shansphere was really poisoned. We have to prove that it happened some other way, and not via Mr. Natsume's tea.
Yes, I know. The trouble is, I have absolutely no idea how it did happen. Oh, how it did happen.
Mr. Naruhodo, I wonder if perhaps there's something he might have forgotten.
Oh? Like what?
It's important to watch everyone involved and pursue people if they react to something someone else says. If you'd like me to remind you exactly what I mean, I'd be more than happy to, of course.
Once again, Soseki-san's fate is entirely in my hands here. I probably owe it to my client to hear any advice my assistant may be able to offer. So perhaps I ought to let Miss Susato-san remind me. Then again, no need. Actually, I don't think there's any need. It's vital that we start trying to change these jurors' minds as soon as possible.
Of course. I'm sure you're right. But if you decide you would like your memory refreshed, you only need to ask, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, right, we could do the thing when they talk, and then whatever they say, we can look at another person.
Hold it!
Okay, let's see if anybody reacts during this. Nope. Okay. I think a pop-up will pop up, if I remember correctly. Okay, maybe not. Hmm. I think we're fine, but... Okay, well... Let's press 4, because... You know, we didn't really actually listen to her testimony at all, so let's see. Can we please refrain from all this talk of gas?
There's an all-out attack on the way here in case you hadn't noticed against my company's gas. And I'm supposed to sit here and take it, am I? I don't think so.
She's really buzzing now.
All I've heard about our wonderful free fuel is explosions and poisonings. What about electricity, What about getting electrocuted? What about that? A little explosion here and there is nothing in comparison.
Any explosion could hardly be described as nothing, madam. Nevertheless, the theft of your gas is deplorable.
My point exactly. But the gas thieves aren't even in the worst of our enemies. We have far more devious reprobates to contend with on a daily basis, you know?
More devious? Who, madam?
Other gas companies, of course.
What? Really? Other gas companies? Not quite what I was expecting.
We generate gas and deliver it to our customers fair and square.
Indeed. No one is questioning that, madam. Altamont is an exemplary gas company.
But there are other unscrupulous gas companies here in London that don't even have any gas at all.
What? But if they don't have any gas, how do they go about selling it to people?
You wouldn't think possible, would you? But they steal our gas, you see, and sell that.
Hey, steal your gas? How on earth is such a thing possible?
Gas companies like ours deliver gas to people's homes via a network of pipes. But these devious reprobates secretly disconnect our pipes and divert our gas into their own rotted pipes. Then they make a contract with the household supplied by those pipes, and take money for the precious gas that's rightfully ours without even knowing. They're diverting gas into their own gas pipes illegally,
What a brazen form of theft!
When we visit customers' houses to collect the money from their meters, we always have to check whether or not one of those devious companies have been up to its tricks.
Well, are you okay, sir? Do you have something to say about that, juror number 3?
Oh, golly, you mean me? I'm terribly sorry. I was just thinking to myself.
I really did catch him off guard there. Thinking about what the lady next to you was saying, correct?
Well, yes. I just got a little riled up about it recently, you see.
Go on.
An Altamont guest worker visited my house the other day to investigate the pipe work. We need to ask for your cooperation while we carry out a secret check of your property, sir, the fellow said. So I let him in. And do you know what he said?
I'm, afraid I have no idea. Please tell us.
He proceeded to take one of my lights off the wall. Then he grabbed the exposed mouth of the pipe and started blowing into it.
What? Wait. He took off the lamp? And he started blowing into the pipe. Huh. Huh. Was there any evidence of the chair being touched a lot? This might explain some stuff with the fire and getting put out for Natsume. And the other guy. Huh. Okay.
What do you think you're doing, young man? You're giving away company secrets there. Oh, please, everybody knows. But it was very nearly the death of me, I can tell you.
What do you mean?
I'll explain if you don't mind. As I said before, these unscrupulous other gas companies connect their customers to our pipe network.
Yes. But how does blowing into the pipes come into it?
Obviously, there's gas in the pipes, and it's at a fairly low pressure. By blowing air through the pipe, you can make the pressure drop temporarily. And if you do that, any lights connected to the same pipe will flicker for a moment.
By blowing air through the pipe, you can make the pressure drop temporarily. And if you do that, any lights connected to the same pipe will flicker. And everything in the Garrett household is connected to one entire pipe system. Every light, everything. Everything only going to Garrett. Is Shamspear blowing into the pipe? And that's what blows out Natsume's pilot light in his stove? And then the other guy died to his gas asphyxiation because of the pilot light going out. And Shamspear has been living in that bottom room for a while. So does that mean he's putting out the fire that way? Is he trying to kill people in the other room because of the curse thing? Because we know there's a treasure in there, right? There's supposedly a treasure because of this criminal who had the room before and he died, right? So that's why people think it's cursed. Huh, okay.
Ah, I see. In other words, if blowing upon blowing into the pipe, the lights of an adjacent property that has no contract with your company flicker, you can know that these devious scoundrels have been meddling with the pipes.
Exactly, my lord. That's it in a nutshell. It's the reason why we have teams of workers going around neighborhoods to investigate which lights flicker. The trouble is, the particular worker who came to my house didn't know the strength of his own breath. He blew down the pipe with all his might, and you can guess what happened, can't you?
Well, if he blew hard, then... Wait! You mean...
That's right. The lights didn't just flicker, they went out, along with the stove. Gas started pouring into the house.
What a disaster.
The gas company must have been interrupted briefly because the gas supply must have been interrupted briefly because the man blew too hard, so the flames went out.
Oh my god, I think my theory might be correct. What the fuck? What the fuck?
I'm afraid I yelled at the fella. Are you trying to kill us all, I said.
So by disconnecting a lamp and blowing into the exposed gas pipe, it's possible to extinguish lamps and stoves connected to the same network of pipes. And then when the gas starts flowing again, it just silently seeps into the room.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't believe it's true.
Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps...
Yes, this is almost certainly the clue that we've been hoping for. Juror number 3, the defense requests that you amend your statement to include that information.
Oh, well, if you like, I don't mind. Well, I do. That's our company's secret method of... Like I said, madam, it's widely known already.
Very well. Juror number 3, you will amend your statement accordingly.
Yes, my lord. Although I'm not really sure what the point of all this is.
And now that we have him talking about, well, hey, if you put your mouth on the gas lamp and you blow hard, then the gas pipe and you blow, then you can extinguish lights. And we assume that based on what we know that from Natsume's account and what happened to this guy, that their pilot lights on their stoves went out, which means someone has been blowing on the gas pipe. And when we see that in this photograph that he's been awfully close to the pipes and the gas lamp right here, that he's doing something sus. His mouth may have not touched tea or food, but he sure as hell could have put it on a gas lamp.
Objection.
Those two statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious! Whose statements do you refer, counsel?
Juror number 6. Did you hear what juror number 3 just said?
What? Yes, of course! I heard him mumbling something about or other.
There is another explanation here, I believe. Something besides Mr. Natsume's tea did, in a matter of speaking, past the victim's lips on the night in question.
What? What explanation?
I wonder, did the police check the mouth of the gas pipe feeding in the wall light at the scene to see if there were any traces of poison there?
I was curious to see what your floundering would result in this time.
But the mouth of a gas pipe?
Scotland Yard has enough to do with without exploring such irrelevance.
Hold it! What a piece of work is a man! What are you trying to say, Mr. Shamspear? What speaketh thou, prithee, is not strange and strange? That is what I say to thee, sir! I thought I'd been quite clear, but let me put it another way. The storage shine could have been on the mouth of the gas pipe that feeds the wall lamp in your room. And that is how the poison came to enter your body.
Good lord! Are they tasty then? Gas pipes? Is that what he's saying?
Or is the gentleman suggesting that the poor man was so desperately hungry, he tried to fill his belly with gas? Perhaps no actress would perform a kiss with him,
Damn, that's pretty savage.
For shame, madam. Speaking thy fancy. I assure you I'm not such a buffoon that I would have to kiss pipes.
Objection!
Boom! Oh.
This is no summation examination. This is a farce. The prosecution will not stand for any more of my learned Nipponese friend's conjecture. To begin with, the lamp in the victim's room is high on the wall. In order to have placed his lips on the pipes that feed it, he would have to be a contortionist. These are empty assertions.
He immediately tossed it! Oh my god, this man is insane.
These are empty assertions. There is no possible proof that the man did as you say.
It's true. I have no proof that Mr. Shamspeare put his lips onto the pipe. However, I can say with some certainty that on multiple occasions, Mr. Shamspeare has been doing something in front of the lamp, in front of that lamp on his wall.
Alright, get that confidence boost, Runosuke.
And I have evidence to prove it!
He's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Alright. You got our attention, lad.
Oh, sorry. Whoops, sorry. Skipped over his dialogue.
Alright. You've got our attention, lad. I'd like to see how you can be so sure of yourself.
So would I. Let's see this evidence then.
Now that I've got the jury's ear, I need to make this opportunity count. This is the proof that time and time again, Mr. Shamspeare stood in front of his gas lamp.
Alright, so this is gonna be really controversial, I think, when we present it, because, like, fingerprints is not really a thing yet. So we'll see.
What the? These are... Wait. What are they called? Yes! Skin prints that were found at the scene.
Skin prints? Counsel? I've never heard of such things. The Justice Ministry is currently assessing whether or not to permit fingerprints as evidence in court, however.
My lord, this is an exciting new forensic technique developed by the great detective, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes. It reveals all of the places that Mr. Shamspeare touched in his room.
I've never seen anything like it. I mean, that's black magic, isn't it? Well, if anyone could invent something like this, it's the great Sholmes fellow, that's for sure.
I agree. This month's edition of Engineering Thumbs was quite fascinating.
We found skin prints in many places that you would expect. On the table, on the costumes. However, Mr. Shamspeare also appears to have been touching some very unexpected places in his room. For example, here.
Around the hanging picture there, indeed, multiple handprints appear to be visible.
Well, I wonder. Could he have been appreciating the artwork, perhaps?
At first, my colleagues and I thought the same. However, imagine standing with your hands where those prints are, and you would find yourself directly in front of...
I don't believe it! The gas lamp!
Though the reason why isn't immediately obvious, it's clear that Mr. Shamspeare has regularly been standing with his hands to the wall in front of that lamp.
Right. What have you been up to, you nut?
I'd ask the court to recall juror number 4's earlier statement.
Me? What did I say?
You said that blowing into a gas pipe would make the lights in the entire building flicker. And now, if you recall juror number 3's statement.
What? Me now?
When the gas worker who visited his home blew with too much force into the pipe, it caused all the lights and the gas stove to go out, and gas to start leaking into the rooms. Obviously, that incident was an incident. However, the simple fact is, if Mr. Shamsphere were to have blown hard into the gas pipe here in his room, he could have extinguished every other light and gas stove in the building at will.
Crikey!
Are you suggesting that the man purposefully caused the gas to...
Objection!
Oh, alright. Whilst I acknowledge that the prosecution is required to remain silent during a summation examination, I must toast my learned friends utter disregard for the letter of the law.
What is the meaning of this, Mr. Lord Van Zeeks?
Mister, where did I get Mister? This curious photograph, or whatever it is, presenting by the defense, the so-called skin prints. Clearly, that cannot be accepted as any form of unusable evidence in this case.
But... but it's an exciting new forensic technique developed by a great detective.
It's nothing. A mere toy developed by an amateur sleuth with too much time on his hands.
Ah!
Certainly, even research of this nature by the esteemed Mr. Sholmes cannot be recognized by the court as formal evidence.
But...
Please, my lord.
Oh, sorry, wrong accent.
Please, my lord, if I may?
Miss Susato?
It was not the defense's intention to submit the skin prints as formal evidence. We merely wish to present the results of the great detective's investigation of the scene as a tool by which to explain a possibility to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. And, if the trial were to come to an end now, we should never learn the truth behind these mysterious handprints that everyone has now seen. I don't believe we can allow that to happen, and I'm sure that the jurors would agree. Hold it! You're right! Whether those strange handprints are a significant clue or not, it's down to us to decide. Juror number 3! Oh yes, I do declare the great detective's investigation sounds absolutely fascinating. And I want to hear what the shady actor fellow has to say about those shady handprints.
Alright, that's 2.
What's the matter with you two? That was foolhardy! Well, I did say it, didn't I? And I don't like to break a promise. No, wait, you heard his lordship. It's not fucking bitch, I'm voting myself.
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. If just one more juror changes his or her mind, Mr. Natsume's trial will have to continue.
Thank you, Mrs. Sato, but I couldn't have done it without you.
Oh no, it was you who identified the clue after all. This is very much your success.
Oh, he's sweating. Why, Mr. Shamsphere, you seem to be losing your composure.
Just one more juror, Mr. Naruhodo. You can do it.
Very well. Continue, counsel.
Okay. Well, I don't think we can really present anything, and we don't really have anything we can pit him against. He's just saying he's a man of logic, and having considered all the evidence, the defendant must logically be guilty, but
Hold it!
I have a feeling there's probably something else recrocked, you know? All the evidence, you say?
That's right. And there's no room for doubt. It's all pointing at that Japanese man with the big mustache.
The guy with the bigger mustache, right? Same dialogue. But the defense just demonstrated another possible explanation for the events in the night in question. Okay, because we did the other part, this is changing slightly. Okay. What do you make of that?
What? Your so-called skin prints?
It's an exciting new forensic investigation technique developed by the great detective himself.
The numerous handprints on the wall are clearly out of the ordinary. And if Mr. Shamsphere had indeed put his mouth to the gas pipe in the night in question, it can't be denied that there's a possibility that's where the gas was, or that poison was.
Well, yes, I won't deny it, that it's playing on my mind. But as the prosecution has rightly says, we should pay no heed to the unacceptable forms of evidence. And besides,
Yes?
even if the fellow has been up to some mischief with the gas pipe dozens of times before, it doesn't mean he got up to the same shenanigans on the night in question, does it?
Oh, that is a good point.
If you can't make your case better than that, I'm afraid I can't change my stance.
You do make a very valid point, sir.
What?
That's true. Perhaps I was a little hasty.
Oh no, god damn it. No, wait!
Look, you've got your chance here, haven't you? So it's time to prove your theory. If you and your Japanese cohorts, that is,
Just leave our nationality out of this, please.
Mr. Naruhodo, if we can't substantiate our position, I'm afraid the jurors that changed their minds before may very well change them back.
What can I do? Is there any more proof I can give here? Can I show that Mr. Shamsphere really did blow down the gas pipe on the night in question? I can't prove it. I can present evidence. We don't have evidence. But we do have a supporting testimony from Mr. Natsume because he is the one who's told us about this. No. In truth, I don't have any evidence to support my theory. However, there is witness testimony that substantiates it.
What's that? Testimony?
This is incredible! Whose testimony?
Yes, it's all connected. Everything is linked. A person whose testimony revealed details about the gas in the Garadev residence that night. Namely,
Take that!
specifically that night. We can actually probably present evidence of a testimony for before that night of the exact same thing happening, you know? Obviously, I'm talking about the defendant, Mr. Suseki Natsume himself.
The defendant?
At the very beginning of the proceedings here in court yesterday, Mr. Natsume said the following.
My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. Even on that fateful night it happened. When I returned from Mr. Shamsphere's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me!
On the night in question, the gas in the defendant's room went out. So I asked the court, was that a mere coincidence or not?
Good golly!
So that Shamsphere fellow blew air into the gas pipe to make the man's stove go out on purpose?
Now, hold your horses there. What would he do that for?
Oh, he's sweating. Mr. Foreman!
What is it, man?
We cannot allow judgment to be passed whilst its doubt remains. It's true that I don't have any conclusive evidence yet. However, you must surely agree. There's more to this case than meets the eye.
Nah. Fair enough. Like I said at the outset, I'm a man of logic first and foremost. You win, sir.
That's 4 jurors leaning towards not guilty, my lord. we've overturned the decision. Therefore, the defense calls for the trial to continue. Okay, I mean, there's two other ones that could be convinced, right?
As the defense has rightfully indicated, the sufficient examination has concluded with a majority of jurors alternating their decisions. 2 jury members now call guilty, 4 now call not guilty. Therefore, the jury's opinion is conflicted, and in accordance with the law of this land, I hereby order the continuation of this trial. Mr. William Shamsphere.
My lord, how can thy humble Shamsphere serve thee? Oh god. My voice.
What say you in response to the various revelations made during the summation examination?
So God mend me, I do solemnly swear. I recall aught of either the lamp or the pipe.
But your handprints have made a tidy mess all over that wall there. How do you explain that, eh?
My leg!
I am done with this. The dignity of this great courtroom has been sullied enough already. Juror number 5.
Oh, me?
As I went to some pains to point out already. As a print from the self-professed detective's toy has no place in British court law. As such, whether or not this man did indeed stand before the gas lamp with his hands against the wall remains at this time unestablished conjecture. You would all do well to remember that.
Objection!
But the prosecution must concede that it would be extremely simple to verify. Just order the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the lamp in Mr. Shamsphere's room to be examined. If there are traces of poison there,
what appears to be extremely simple is my Nipponese friend's mind. You will recall that in order to check for the presence of poison in the tea, some remnants of tea were required.
yes.
Therefore, it shouldn't be beyond your wit to imagine that even if poison were to have been spread on the pipe, it would have completely evaporated by now, making the any analysis impossible.
I didn't think of that.
In any case, counsel, I fail to see what could possibly have motivated the man to do as you describe. Why on earth would this fellow have wanted to blow air into the gas pipework where he lived?
There's only one possibility I can think of, and that is to use the leaking gas to commit murder.
Order, order! Counsel! Precisely whose life do you propose this man was plotting to end?
The answer couldn't be simpler. Now we've unraveled the mystery this far. Mr. Shamsphere wanted to end the life of Soseki Natsume.
Take that!
If a gas lamp were to go out, it would be noticed immediately, of course. But a gas stove, on the other hand, could be silently extinguished by the killer without anyone noticing.
I live around those parts myself, so I know what it's like. I can tell you, trying to sleep without the stove lit is pretty much suicide. You'd freeze to death in no time.
Mr. Garadeb, the landlord, has a large fireplace in his part of the residence on the top floor. In other words, it wasn't the landlord, but a fellow lodger whose life Mr. Shamsphere was trying to end.
Outrageous!
I'm talking, of course, about the defendant! Mr. Natsume isn't the villain in this case. He's the victim. This man was trying to murder.
Good gracious!
Objection!
The accused is actually the aggrieved. Interesting. However, the fundamental facts of the case remain unchanged. Namely, that the accused is the aggressor here. What? How can you still claim that? Let us indulge your fancies for a moment and assume that there was indeed poison on the mouth of the gas pipe. The question that then arises is who put it there? Who did put it there? The only logical conclusion is that the person responsible was aware of this man's trickery with the gas supply and his intent to kill.
Yes, that would indeed seem logical. If the assailant were unaware, how would he or she have known to lace the end of that gas pipe with poison?
So now we must ask, how could anyone have known of Mr. Shamspeare's murderous designs?
You mean to suggest?
Naturally, the sole possible answer to that question could it be more obvious. Only the man whose life was being threatened could possibly have known. What? In other words, the person who put the poison on the gas pipe in what was clearly a retaliatory attack can only have been the accused, Mr. Saseki Natsume.
Ah!
Whatever Mr. William Shamspeare may or may not have contrived to do, he was nevertheless the victim of a potentially lethal poison attack. And the only person who could possibly have perpetrated that attack is the accused, Mr. Natsume. The defense counsel's theorizing has failed to avert suspicion from the accused. Far from it. In fact, now that a clear motive for the poisoning has been successfully established, that suspicion is greater than ever. Would you not agree, my Nipponese friend?
Ah! How did he manage to turn that around on me so rapidly? Mr. Naruhodo, you must respond! Otherwise, the members of the jury may very well change their leanings against us again. And this may be our last chance to gain the advantage.
What advantage?
Well, it would seem that somebody put poison in the gas pipe in Mr. Shamspeare's room. So we must name that person now and absolve Mr. Natsume of guilt.
You mean, name the true culprit?
I know it might sound impossible, but if we fail to do that, I have no doubt that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed once and for all.
As it happens, one possible culprit does come to mind. The evidence, the poison, it's all pointing to a particular person now. The prosecution calls for the jury to consider their leanings again. I trust you'll make the correct decision this time, Mr. Foreman.
What? Oh, don't you worry. We know exactly that.
Alright, so basically based on the dialogue of poison, person, and someone who would know about this, I have a feeling that it isn't, we're going to be pointing out Olive Green. Because we have quite a few things. One, we found this torn off envelope in Shamspeare's room, and she had the other part of the envelope with the note that told her to meet somebody at a pub, I think. And Shamspeare just did admit to eating at a pub salad and broth, so it's gotta be her to know. And she tried poisoning herself, and this is her
boyfriend, fiance, ex-boyfriend, dead boyfriend, fiance, you know, so who else could it possibly be at this point?
There's one other person who I believe could have been involved in all of this. The true culprit of this crime.
The true culprit?
A term found only in second-rate novels featuring third-rate great detectives, my Nipponese friend. But why not? This farce has gone on for so long already, I see no reason to cut it short before its disappointing climax.
Thank you.
Tell us, my learned Nipponese friend, what is your latest theory? Who is the so-called true culprit of this crime?
It's just gotta be her. She tried poisoning herself and everything, and she's like, she's really guilty about everything, you know? So what else?
The name of the person responsible for the poison that afflicted Mr. Shamsphere is, I believe, Miss Olive Green.
Miss Olive Green? Miss Olive Green. I do feel as though I've heard that name in the recent past, Counsel. But I don't recall where.
Miss Olive Green, the woman from 6 days ago. Oh, the woman from 6 days ago. The victim in the recent case of stabbing on Briar Road. An incident for which Mr. Natsume was arrested, I hasten to add.
Oh, of course, yes, Miss Green. She was left comatose for some 3 days, I believe, but I hear she regained consciousness 2 days ago.
And I hardly need to remind the court that Mr. Shamsphere's poisoning took place 3 days ago. Given that the woman was lying comatose in a hospital bed at the time, she appears to have a rather fine alibi.
True. On the night that the incident occurred, Miss Green was in hospital, unconscious. So on the face of it, it would seem that she couldn't possibly be responsible. But still. My colleagues and I visited Miss Green in hospital yesterday, and we found her to be in possession of a bottle of poison.
Good gracious! She had poison?
And there was another fact that links Miss Green to this case as well. The defense requests that she be brought to the witness stand in order to explain the details to the court.
Tell me, Mr. Shamsphere.
My lord, pray what be thy bidding?
Are you acquainted with Miss Green?
No, never heard of her.
Judging by the look on Mr. Shamsphere's face, I think perhaps he genuinely doesn't know her. At least, not by name.
As the voice of Her Majesty's prosecution here, I adhere to my word. We will see my learned Nipponese friend's farce through to its conclusion.
I appreciate that. Although I wish you didn't phrase it like that.
The prosecution requests a short recess, my lord, in order to subpoena the witness and bring her here.
Yes, Miss Olive Green.
Indeed, my lord. 1 hour should be sufficient.
Very well. I grant the request.
Excellent. I hope.
The defense has made a most extraordinary accusation, I must say. But at the present time, I feel the prosecution's argument remains largely uncontested. Accordingly, I'm afraid the defendant and his culpability remain the sole subject of this court's attention. Thank you, consuls. We reconvene in 1 hour. Court is adjourned.
Alright. I have a feeling
That's the end of the first part of the second part. So, yeah. And we got one more part to go today. That was surprisingly a lot shorter than most of the other trial part ones. Alright, so we're bringing in olive green. Okay. I definitely believe, yeah, where the train of thought is definitely going, it definitely does seem like that olive green is indeed gonna be responsible for the poisoning on the pipe. And it's quite obvious by this point that Shakespeare has been blowing into the gas pipe to blow out the pilot light in Natsume's stove. So, yeah, and Gyarados has an entire fireplace, so like that, there's no fucking way he's blowing that out by just blowing in the gas pipes, you know? So like, yeah. I'm, you know, I have a feeling I know where this is going with the olive green stuff, but we're gonna have to see it play out as we go through the second part. But before I do that, I'm gonna go take like a quick little bathroom break and whatnot, you know? Because yeah, I just need a bathroom break, you know? So let me just put up a nice BRB text. Did I forget if I actually made a thing or not already for? Just this one? What is this text? It just says 1. Okay. Okay. Now that I got this on screen. Oh, it's tiny as hell. Let me fix the size a bit. Select size. There we go. That's still tiny. 200 maybe? Yeah, okay, that looks good. And then where's the outline option? Outline, there it is. Make it black. Increase the thickness. Don't mind me. Just doing this bit by bit. I don't have a BRB screen because I haven't made one yet. Don't mind me. But yeah, yeah, let me just, I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick, refresh my water so I don't run out, target the next part, and we'll continue. So, be right back.
Okay. Quick BRB has been finished. I say quick, but I kind of took a little bit longer than I thought I would. There we go.
Joyful, jubilant, jumping jacks!
Oh, Mr. Natsume, I'm so pleased for you.
That was like a very sudden thing to do.
Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire and Don Locum Judicial Assistant Miss Mikatobo Esquires. Now finally, at long last, there can be proof. Proof that I'm innocent, and proof that my tea is innocent. Ah, good morning, my dear fellows. Hurrah! Look, Herlock Holmes. May you drink my tepid tea and fall forever silent.
I thought that he was innocent.
Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you came. How wonderful.
Please, save your derision. I know what you're all thinking. Good morning, he says, when it's very nearly time for luncheon. Your scorn is written clearly across your faces.
Nobody said or thought anything of the sort.
The truth is, I was determined that today would be the day. As sleep seduced me last night, I thought. Tomorrow, for once, I shall not oversleep. I'll rise early and be present in court to support my companions. Such spirited determination has a beauty all on its own, does it not?
Oh, yes.
And then I began to muse on the subject. Why do people oversleep, I queried. Why, time after time, do they make the same foolish blunder?
Well, you see, Sholmes, the reason why I oversleep on the weekend is because I'm fucking tired. And I have to get up at 6 every morning, every morning during the week. I need a break, man.
And the answer came to me at once. It's so delightfully simple. People oversleep because they sleep.
Profound. Anyways.
Well, is that not an astute insight into the matter?
Oh, yes.
Upon which realization I attempted an experiment. I didn't sleep a wink all night. And the results? By first light, I was exhausted and began to be assailed by the fits of drowsiness. Shocking. And so, the conclusion of last night's experiment is this. A good night's sleep is quite simply essential.
A breakthrough. Clearly a breakthrough in medical research, this man. Yes, I think most of us probably knew that already.
What others presuppose, I prove by experimentation. That, my dear fellow, is the scientific method. Ah, yes, and one more thing. Do you remember this?
Yes, of course. It's the poison that Miss Green was about to drink at the hospital yesterday.
Oh!
You didn't manage to...
It was a laborious task, as the bottle was near empty. But such inconveniences do not hinder Sholmes. I managed to confirm that it contained sturgeon.
So I was right.
Perhaps. Though, of course, such circumstantial evidence doesn't prove Miss Green's guilt. I shall leave the bottle in your care now. But licking the inside of the neck is not recommended.
Who would ever want to lick a poisonous bottle? Or maybe eat it? Definitely nobody that we know in the Ace Attorney series. Definitely, absolutely nobody. Could I have a word? Oh, who are you now?
Oh. Could I have a word? Mr. Gregson, how good of you to come!
Forget it. Excuse me.
You fucking bail! Wait a minute, Inspector!
I, don't wish to make a nuisance of myself.
From the look on your face, I'd say it's someone else who you think is making a nuisance of himself. My dear Inspector, please speak freely. Pretend that I'm not here.
Believe me, if I could do that, life would be a whole lot simpler for me.
Do you have the results, Inspector, of the investigation of Mr. Shamsphere's room?
Not yet. Shouldn't be long, though. Long now, though. No, I'm here about something else. Dead convict, actually.
Oh, really? Oh, you mean the man from this newspaper article we discovered yesterday in Mr. Shamsphere's room?
A man by the name of... Ah, yes. Selden.
Selden Ring. Popular game by FromSoft.
I went through the archives at the yard and dug out the fellow's file. There's something in there that, well, it caught my eye.
Something caught your eye? What, Inspector? What?
I've copied out the relevant parts for you, so you can read it for yourselves.
Thank you. Okay. I will read that as soon as we get into court.
These documents include the details that were in the newspaper cutting we found in Mr. Shamsphere's room. I'll rearrange everything in the court records so we don't have duplicate information.
Why are you giving us a copy of this important file, though?
Well, you're the ones who turned up the clue in the first place, aren't you? I'm just making sure things get handled in the proper fashion.
Oh, Scotland Yard's workings are so wonderful.
Indeed, my dear fellows. And the Inspector here is a shining diamond in its crown. A shining diamond. In the rough, maybe.
Luck. I don't want to be beholden to a lawyer, that's all.
Oh, there he goes. Opacity 0.
Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court proceedings are about to resume. Make your way to the courtroom at once.
I'll never have a consistent voice for this bailiff. Well, I shall leave you then. I'll be listening for interest from the public gallery. Not nodding off at all. Certainly not. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm rather tired of seeing Mr. Mustache in floods of tears, personally. So, the best of luck to you.
Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire!
Yes, Mr. Natsume?
It's time, isn't it?
Yes. This is it. Miss Olive Green and Mr. William Shamsphere. This is going to be the final battle. I won't really have saved Soseki-san until I've exposed the whole truth of everything that's been going on. But it's all coming to a head now. You can do it, Renosuke. You have to! You can really feel the resolve in this Ace Attorney resolve, you know? Alright.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again now. before the recess, we heard a most startling accusation from the defense. Namely, that the victim of the case we heard here only a few days ago is the true perpetrator of this incident.
A reckless, rash, and prejudiced charge of wrongdoing in my opinion, my lord. However, the prosecution has tried to extend every courtesy to this amateur newcomer from dubious eastern shores.
Thank you! I could really do without the dubious part, you know, though, but it's fine. For that backhanded consideration.
A rather cold assessment from the Honourable British Prosecutor, I must say. So, Lord Van Seeks, is the new witness present and ready to take the stand?
Ready and waiting in the witness's antechamber, my lord.
Very well. Bailiff!
I skipped over the dialogue, I'm sorry. Fuck.
Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court, please.
William Shamsphere, my liege. For mine occupation, I can only say that I be a tragic victim to be pitied.
Currently unemployed, in other words.
I'm Olive Green. I'm a fledgling artist. Well, no. Not a fledgling, really. A hopeless failure who's too weak-spirited to admit she has no talent, I suppose.
Also currently unemployed, in other words.
What a coterie.
Mr. Shamsphere.
My lord, I am thy humble servant.
I'm afraid that you are no longer merely the victim in this affair. The possibility has been raised that you are in fact the assailant, intent on taking the life of your fellow lodger. The part you have played in this whole business will be thoroughly scrutinized, I assure you.
I would but for naught else, my lord.
And Miss Green,
Yes?
you are aware of the reason you have been summoned to this courtroom today, I suppose, I presume?
Yes, the officer did explain. This idiot. He said I was poisoned. This ridiculous buffoon.
And do you accept the charge, Miss Green?
I don't know anything about any poisoning. And I don't know anything about this man.
Come, lady, die to live. Verily, I know thine prickly pea-pigmented personage.
Very well. Let us proceed with the matter at hand. That being to ascertain whether or not Miss Green has any involvement in this affair.
It's all very strange. Very strange indeed. Why would you suspect me? I barely ever go to East End anyway. It so happens that I passed by the neighborhood 6 days ago, that's all. And on the night that this man was poisoned, I was still in hospital fighting for my life.
Yes, having been unfortunately caught up in the incident on the street outside the Garadeb household. An incident that rendered you unconscious for some 3 days.
I was struck in the middle of my back like by a knife, through no fault of my own, and now I'm under suspicion. What other irrelevant things might I be suspected of? It's all very disturbing.
Your energies may be better spent worrying about random knife attacks, I feel, Miss Green.
At this point in time, all that appears to connect you with Mr. Shamspeare's lodgings in the Briar Road incident of 6 days ago. That's why we would like you to testify formally now about exactly what happened.
Oh no! The incident 6 days ago? You mean you want me to relive that awful incident?
Unfortunately, yes. Please tell the court what happened that day. And of course, we will be interested to hear from you about your movements that day too, Mr. Shamsphere.
But what happened 6 days ago is nothing to do with me being poisoned.
Let us proceed then. The witnesses will present their formal testimony to the court. On the subject of the incident that took place on Briar Road the evening of the 17th of February.
Hooey. Okay.
It was 6 days ago at about 5 p.m. I was walking along in the snow when I was suddenly stabbed in the back. Coincidentally, it happened to be outside the house where the men in the case had their lodgings.
I was at the tavern on the eve of which thou speakest, for I had bespoke my supper.
It was the first time I'd been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to, that's all. Anyway, I was admitted straight to the hospital, so I knew nothing about all this business.
This is very, very fair so far.
Yes, a second incident inside a week at what I believe to be aptly prescribed as the haunted lodgings. One can only presume this is a most unfortunate coincidence.
Meanwhile, you say you were not in your room, Mr. Shamsphere.
'Twas the following morn when I did awaken that I learnt of the dire events. Mary, what a commotion did the officers of the law make on the floor above mine!
When Saseki-san was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder.
As suspected, there was nothing connecting these two witnesses but happenstance.
It's true. It does seem as though they're unrelated at first glance. But I'm not so sure. There's something lurking in the shadows here. I feel certain of it. And this is my one and only chance to expose it.
Counsel, you may now cross-examine these two witnesses if you wish. I mean, I say as you wish because, seriously, I don't think you're gonna get much out of this. Or at least that's the belief so far.
Yes, my lord.
Okie dokie. 5 p.m. I was walking along the snow when I was suddenly stabbed in the back. Her eyes really dart around. Let's try to see what she's trying to say.
I'm well acquainted with the case. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Oh yeah, no, we get reactions now because... Yeah, now we get reactions because of the second case onward. Okay, good. Nice.
It was awful. I still can't believe I was unconscious for so long. And I woke up to find that the case had been solved and the culprit arrested.
Yes, the incident has been resolved already. Perhaps it would help you to consider it a bad dream that ended with your awakening. and should now be forgotten.
Yes, I suppose so, thank you.
But before you put it completely behind you, Miss Green, I need you to remember the details one last time. You must tell the court exactly what happened that day, for us to arrive at the truth about this new case.
The trouble is, there's nothing to tell, really.
Hold it!
So coincidentally, but why was she doing near this lodging area?
What were you doing there that day, though?
What do you mean?
The art school you attend. What's it called?
Ah, yes. It's the Thorndyke Academy of Fine Arts. According to Mr. Sholmes, that's just in the vicinity of Brixton Road, which is some 10 stops away from the scene of the underground.
I believe you mentioned before that you also live on Brixton Road. Isn't that right? So why then would you have been walking along Briar Road in the middle of the East End?
Well, it's because, oh yes, of course. I thought it might make a nice picture.
The witness is a student of art. City-dwelling artists can't all paint grand urban vistas.
That's right. I happen to like the crumbling look of that part of town. Perhaps quaint would have been a less grating term.
The point is, she's definitely hiding something.
Yes, it seems she's not going to be forthcoming with the truth.
If she's trying to hide why she was still there that evening, it must mean there's a reason for her not wanting us to know. That's the key to this! And you, Mr. Shamsphere, on the evening of the incident 6 days ago, would you tell the court what exactly you were doing?
'Twould be my pleasure, sire. Sire.
Hold it!
Tavern, right. A tavern, you say? Which one?
'Twas the Slug and Salad, where I did tarry. 'Tis a jewel in the East End.
I remember her mentioning that, I think.
And a little unexpected, I feel.
What do you mean, Lord Van Zeeks?
The Slug and Salad offers unusually fine dining. For the locality, at least. Not an establishment you'd expect to be patronized by a man with not even a crumb of bread in his room.
It's true. The menu lists premium crusts of bread and glasses of water in different levels of cloudiness.
Oh, that's interesting.
I would have expected Grubb's Grubbery in the local vicinity to be more appropriate for your means. Watery soup and mushy peas. Or rather, soupy water and pea like mush.
All equally appetizing.
I just wanted to try some water in a different pub for once. What's wrong with that?
How different can water really be?
Or perhaps there's a more plausible explanation. A specific reason why he had to go to that particular establishment.
Agreed. The fact that on that day of all days he dined at a place he wouldn't normally, it does stand out. So, Mr. Shamsphere's own actions on the day of the incident 6 days ago were slightly suspicious. He is what I would call sussy. I'm sorry I made that joke. I'm gonna stop now. I wonder if we have some evidence that can explain those actions. No, I don't think we have anything at the moment. Why would I keep pressing? I wish we did. but sadly I can't think of anything at the moment.
If we find a clue that could explain why Mr. Shakespeare went there, we must present it to the court.
Yes, absolutely.
If this is all on this matter, counsel, I would ask Miss Green to reiterate her next statement.
She had a little matter to attend to, and we don't know what that matter is, but I have a feeling it's what she said in the letter, which was to meet what we read in the letter, which was to meet some at the soup and salad or whatever. Grub and salad, whatever. What little matter, Miss Green? Please elaborate.
It was nothing, really. It's just not worth mentioning.
Oh. If you remember, you mentioned it to us yesterday at the hospital. It was related to the card you were holding. Miss Green? What was that? She clearly just hid something behind her back. From memory, I believe the card contained a note that read, "I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross."
What? What does that matter? This has nothing to do with Duncan.
My accent changed super bad there. But, hey, what you gotta say there, sir? Mr. Shakespeare, do you have something to share with the court? To be or not to be? That is the question. Ah, pray forgive me. The great bard's words bringeth from me within me with ne'er thought. Don't tell me. It's because you're possessed by Shakespeare's spirit, right? Hearing Miss Green's words a moment ago seemed to make you think of something. Something of relevance, perhaps? Well... Nay, sire, 'twas nothing at all. Presumably you know the name, though. Mr. Duncan Ross, I mean. After all, you were both lodgers in the same house. It would appear so. I mean, it would... I would it were so, but sadly, nay. Lodging be a lovely occupation, sire. My lodging fellows be rarely known to me. So, you haven't heard of him, even though he passed away in the room just one floor above yours?
Miss Green.
Me, my lord? Have I done something wrong?
The card that was mentioned before, containing the note. Do you have it upon your person?
I do, but I don't need it anymore. In fact, I should throw it away, really.
Before you dispose of it, the court will take it as evidence, please.
Okay, then we have two pieces of evidence. I completely forgot I was supposed to look over the documents earlier that we were given by Gregson. Of course! That's what links Mr. Shakespeare and Miss Green. It's Duncan Ross!
Now, continue with your testimony, please, Miss Green.
Okay, let's look at this new piece of evidence. Oh, okay, let's look at this first. Investigative findings related to Selden. 18 counts of burglary, 6 counts of suspected murder. Died of natural causes whilst in prison, his final moments witnessed only by his cellmate. The estimated £1,000 worth of loot he stole remains unrecovered. And then this is the article where it's like he's been suffering fever and then he died. But interesting to note that there's treasure.
that I think they mentioned at some point about treasure. Or they... I don't know. I could have sworn somebody mentioned treasure, but I'm not too sure. Anyways. So we got the note. But this the envelope has been ripped open rather carelessly, hasn't it? Miss Green strikes me as the type to open correspondence more neatly than that.
What is it?
The way the envelope is torn, I am almost sure I've seen the exact same shape somewhere else.
Oh, you don't mean... Were you thinking of this piece of evidence, Mr. Naruhodo?
Exactly! That's it!
Try to match them up. They go together perfectly.
This torn off end of the envelope clearly belongs with this card! The envelope fits perfectly with a torn off piece we found at the crime scene. Or a piece of the envelope that was found in Miss James's room. It fits perfectly with the envelope in Miss Grimm's position. Can we read the note again, actually? Or is it only the torn envelope part? I'm actually curious. Is the envelope that contained the notes Miss Green and the torn off end that we found fitted together perfectly? Yes, there is no question they're from the same letter. But that means something doesn't quite add up here, does it? Okay, so I guess we can use this as evidence now to present against one of these statements. Coincidentally, I just happen to be outside where the man have the logic now. Definitely stabbed in the back. Nope. First time I've been into the area. Oh wait, right. We had to press. We pressed a statement and it was asking for evidence. So let's get to that bit right there. So let's fast forward to that bit. Hearing the bling 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 in succession is pretty funny though. Okay, so we have the letter now. We can present it as evidence.
Mr. Shamsphere.
Yes, sire?
On the day in question, is it not the case that you visited the Slug and Salad, a place you don't normally patronize, for a very particular reason?
I don't know what you're talking about. Pray if thou hast some purpose, speakest.
Very well. I will present the court with evidence. Evidence that explains why you had to be at the Slug and Salad that day. Namely...
I guess you could probably present either bit of the letter, but I'm just gonna do this one. This just makes more logical sense. Visually.
I believe this card reveals the answer.
Good lord! Miss Green's card, you mean?
That's right, my lord. It reads... I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Mr. Shamsphere, your actions on the afternoon of Miss Green's stabbing are exactly as described in this note. Personally, I find it hard to believe that's a coincidence. Don't you, Mr. Shamsphere?
Well...
Excuse me. Can I say something?
Yes, Miss Green?
That card was delivered to me. It doesn't have anything to do with this odd man, does it?
Well, you'd think so, yes. But it's hard to believe it's merely...
My lord, may I?
May you what, Miss Green?
I'd like to make something very clear about that card.
Very well then. You may amend your testimony to include details about that particular note.
Okay. This note was delivered to me at my address. It has nothing to do with the odd man next to me here.
Hold it!
Let's just press this, because we need... What else, right?
I think you said that you received it the day before the incident, didn't you?
Yes, that's right.
There appears to be no indication of the sender's name or address on the envelope.
It was in my letterbox, and that's all I know, I'm afraid. I've no idea who sent it.
I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Who is this Duncan Ross, please?
A friend of mine. He attended the same art school as I do. He passed away in a tragic accident a month ago now, though. I wasn't sure what to make of that note, to be honest. But in the end, I decided to go.
So you found out what the information was?
Of course I didn't. You're not thinking straight.
Whilst on her way there, she was stabbed in the back, as my learned friend hopefully remembers.
Yes, of course! She never made it to the meeting.
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, you pursued Mr. Shamsphere wonderfully there.
It worked out well, hasn't it? We have a new clue at last. Alright, now I need to pull off a really insightful objection somewhere.
Well, as you've managed to expose this promising new angle, I wonder if you should perhaps try to develop that.
Yes, of course! And yelling out objections isn't necessarily the best way to do that, I suppose. We have to amend her fifth statement. I mean, not amend it, but her fifth statement, saying, "This odd letter was delivered to me. I have nothing to do with this man. But ma'am, we found this in his room!" The day before the incident, exactly 1 week ago now, this note was delivered to your address. Or address, whatever we want to pronounce it. And upon carrying out the instructions in the note, you found yourself in hospital.
Yes, I did. It's terrible. Everything that's happened to me.
Yes, it is terrible. If it's all true, that is.
What do you mean?
Miss Green, have a look at this, please. It's the torn off end of an envelope.
Oh, is it?
And it so happens that it fits together perfectly with the envelope of the note you received.
What? Where did you find that?
In Mr. Shamsphere's room. Eh? In my room? Mr. Shamsphere, do you perhaps remember this note from somewhere? Well... Your actions that afternoon followed the instructions in the note to the letter. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. And so that's exactly where you went. Let me ask you again, Mr. Shamsphere. You already knew about this note, didn't you? And you, Miss Green.
Ah! What did I do?
As this torn off end of the envelope proves, the note was originally in Mr. Shamsphere's room. So how is it that it came to be in your possession?
I don't have the first idea. I'm just a fledgling artist is all.
There's only one explanation. You broke into Mr. Shamsphere's room and stole it! Oh yeah, that is a better angle than I was expecting. Yeah, so... She delivered to him, he read it, he tore it open because she wouldn't tear it open like that. He would, because he's Shamsphere. And then he was like, cool, a note to go to a restaurant! And then he went there, and then she went in and did the poisoning and then stole the letter to make sure that there was no evidence of any reason why he would leave the room, I guess? That's my guess. You did what? Sorry, thou hast what? You broke, I mean, Thou were in my room? What on earth do you want with me?
It would seem that both witnesses need to testify again.
Miss Green,
Yes?
whilst you have the court's sympathy, I'm sure for the suffering you have endured in recent events.
Absolutely no privacy. Exactly, Meteorite.
Anyone found to be giving false testimony in a court of law will be duly punished. Please bear that in mind.
Yes? I know.
Very well then. Witnesses, you will give formal testimony again now. On the subject of this curious anomaly regarding the note Miss Green claims to have received.
I do remember now. 'Twas a week ago. Peradventure, that note was delivered unto me. On the day writ therein, I did tarry a long hour at the Slug and Salad, yet nobody came. Thereafter, on the evening I shared the company of the Japanese fellow, I did see the note had vanished.
I don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into this man's room, do you? Why would I? I can point out the villain here, and as for that torn off piece of the envelope, I don't know anything about it.
Oh boy, alrighty.
You now claim to have received this letter, do you, Mr. Shamsphere?
Faith, 'tis so, my lord. And I would swear to have set it upon the table in my humble lodgings. Yet, 'tis clear to me now that since I returned from the tavern that night, I have not laid eyes upon it.
Well, that being the case, young lady, it would appear that your testimony was...
A lie? Is that what you think? How unfair you to think I'm the one lying.
I beg your pardon?
I'm just a fledgling artist, as I said, and fledgling artists don't lie. That note was delivered to me at my address. Besides, we all know who the liar around here is.
If that's true, Miss Green, how do you explain the facts? This part of the envelope was, without question, found in Mr. Shan...
I don't see why I should explain.
Sorry?
I'm a fledgling artist. My job here is just to say what happened. That's all. It's your job to give the explanations and the proofs. You, the fledgling lawyer.
The fledgling will do his best.
Evidently, my learned friend's cross-examination is our only hope of learning the truth.
Well, counsel?
I'm ready, my lord.
Very well then. The defense will now proceed with the cross-examination of the witnesses.
Miss Green clearly did break into Mr. Shamsphere's room. There can be no question of that. And that's how she acquired the note.
Yes, two facts that are starting to lead me to a possible explanation for all of this. And it's not a pretty one. Okay, I do remember now it was a week ago, peradventure, that the note was delivered unto me. Okay, let's hear more about this. And can you shed any light on the contents of the note at all? Nay, sire, tis as strange to me as a foreign tongue. Even with a knowledge of literature as great as mine own, verily, 'Tis impenetrable. But Mr. Duncan Ross had lodgings in the same household as you. In effect, he was your neighbor. So, surely you knew him, didn't you? Alack! If the choices be twixt, I knew him and knew him not, then 'tis with foreboding that I would be forced to declare we were, by some small measure, acquainted. Despite your claims, though, you followed the note's instructions and went to the Slug and Salad. Presumably, that was nothing to do with your knowledge of literature. Marry! Naught will have the better of me, sire, save for the lure of curiosity. Though 'tis true I was compelled by mine own eager heart to betake myself to the tavern, yet in the end my curiosity was not satiated.
At this point, I'm just kind of like pressing everything.
Hold it!
So, even after waiting for an hour, nobody appeared? Well, yes, sire. 'Tis as thou sayest. Really? You paused for a moment before you answered. In truth, when thou asked whether nobody appeared, I did suddenly recall.
Really? Do you mean to tell the court that somebody did appear after all?
I was not alone that night at the Slug and Salad, my lord. No, 'tis returning to me now. I did treat my lips to almost clear water and mine innards to a premium crust of bread. And all around me danced a great many companions. What do you mean? Flies, sire! Flies!
Good lord!
In the name of Beelzebub, what were they? Fairies, perchance, from a midsummer night's dream, come to taunt me? I think they were just flies.
I can't help thinking that the flies ought to choose something more wholesome to buzz around. Is that wrong of me?
Hearing buzzing flies and him considering them fairies kind of makes me think of like that live-action Disney movie, Unenchanted? No, just Enchanted. The one with what's her name as the lady who like falls down a well and shows up in New York. That whole movie. There's like a whole scene where she's like singing to animals as per Disney princess shenaniganery, and then like because it's New York, there's like pigeons, rats, cockroaches, and flies that show up. So just him talking about that kind of makes me think about that movie. But enough of that tangent.
Hold it!
When exactly did you notice it had gone missing? Such idle thoughts ne'er occupy my mind. I am busied with greater ideas.
In other words, you didn't notice.
Several days passed between your outing to the tavern and Mr. Natsume's visit to your room.
Yes, it would appear that the note disappeared sometime in that interval.
Such idle thoughts ne'er occupy my mind. I am busied with greater ideas.
And yet, during that time, Miss Green was comatose in hospital. Was she not? Clearly, then, she could not have been stealing things from Mr. Shamspeare's room.
Yes. Yes, of course. It's all some sort of misunderstanding, isn't it? Mr. Prosecutor, sir.
You have so far failed to give a satisfactory explanation as how you came by the note.
I am not here to advocate for your defense, madam. I won't tolerate inconsistencies in your story. You would do well to remember that.
Oh, dearie me.
What's Lord Van Zeek's getting at? Don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into his room, do you? Why would I?
Hold it!
It seems that this note was actually delivered to Mr. Shakespeare about 1 week ago.
Oh. Does it?
But for some reason, it ended up in your possession. I can't think of any way that could have happened except for you breaking into Mr. Shakespeare's lodging.
Objection!
But for what reason would the witness have done that?
I
won't deny that Miss Green's possession of the note would appear to defy logic. However, until and unless her involvement in this case can be proven in some other way, any further pursuit of this note is meaningless.
Miss Green could only have come to be in possession of the note by stealing it from Mr. Shakespeare's room. And yet, there's no obvious reason why she would have done such a thing.
What if there was some other reason she broke into his lodgings, though?
Yes! We should pursue that idea, Mr. Naruhodo.
We're close now. I can feel it. We're close to a breakthrough. I can point out the villain here, and as for that torn out piece of envelope, I don't know anything about it. So, you don't want to tell the court the truth about the letter, is that it?
I'm a fledgling artist, remember? Artists are nearly always introverted characters.
Introverted? Phew! This fledgling doth readily cast aspirations about my nature. Yet I am an angel, a seraph. Birds do harmonize with my song. The wind doth frolic on my wing. Oh, pity! Wherefore dost thou accuse one so pure of heart, ample woman?
Pure of heart? I don't think so. Even a fledgling like me can see you're just a failure.
Tragedy! Thou shalt not know the true heart of an artist till thine instruction hereafter by death. Oh, the days, oh, the years, alas, to enlighten thee, thou must wait so long and in vain.
Mr. Naruhodo, inject with some clever remark. This is your chance to shine.
I'm no Shakespearean actor, Mrs. Sato. No, as far as I can tell, the only thing that's going to resolve this argument
is evidence. Yes!
Okay, so we've gone through everything.
It's clear that Miss Green did in fact break into Mr. Shakespeare's room, isn't it? And that's where she found this letter.
Yes. Two more or less foregone conclusions that lead me to one terrifying conclusion.
Terrifying?
Yes. I'm afraid to say that the outcome of this cross-examination may well change how we look at this case completely. Oh, okay. One day wherein I did tarry a long hour at the sluggard cell, nobody came. Thereafter, on the evening, I shared the company of a Japanese fellow and did see the note had vanished. I don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into his man's room, do you? Why would I? Why would you? I mean, if she came in, and considering the contents of the letter, which we can't read for some reason, we would assume that she would be the one who sent the letter, and is the one who wants to poison him. So she sent him away on a foolhardy task, and if she broke into the room, she could get this back. And while she was breaking into the room, then she could have put the poison onto the pipe? At this point of time? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then, well, it seems like this is gonna work, so. Yesterday at the hospital, we saw you with this bottle. And though the contents spilt during the course of our meeting, a small quantity remained. According to the defense's independent analysis, Mr. Shulman's chemistry set, the liquid that was still in the bottle was identified as storachine.
What? Storachine? The very same poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspear?
Huh? Miss Green, you broke into this man's lodgings. For one reason, and one reason alone. To cover the end of the pipe that feeds the gas lamp in Mr. Shamspear's room with poison.
Can this be?
You broke into my room? It may seem incredible to the court, but from the remaining clues, there is only one logical conclusion that we can reach. A person who attempted to take Mr. Shamspear's life with poison was you, Miss Olive Green!
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dearie me!
Oh, and she's dead. All right, court's over.
Order! Order! Counsel, are you seriously suggesting this woman put poison on the end of the gas pipe with intent to kill?
Yes, my lord. There's no other way to explain the facts.
But if Miss Green did indeed set an odious trap 6 days ago, and the victim had put his mouth to the pipe that very evening as expected, the attempted murder would have happened 6 days ago, surely.
Well, that's a very good point.
Perhaps not, my lord.
I beg your pardon?
There was a significant police presence on the area that evening on account of the incident on Briar Road. Local residents were being interviewed throughout the night as part of the ongoing inquiry. A circumspect criminal would likely have chosen not to carry out any wrongdoings at that time.
Lord Van Zeeks.
And of course, the following morning there was more activity at Mr. Shamspear's address.
More activity? Yes! You mean his fellow lodger, Mr. Natsume, being arrested on suspicion of murder.
That's right. And as the defense has already proposed, Mr. Shamspear was meddling with the gas in the pipe for a very sinister reason himself. To cause the gas stove in Mr. Natsume's room to go out, thereby asphyxiating the occupant.
But once Mr. Natsume had been arrested, his room was under constant surveillance by the police. In the circumstances, Mr. Shamspear had no reason to blow air into the gas pipe.
His intended victim being in a prison cell. With the need to tamper with the gas removed, the poison on the pipe lay dormant.
And then, 3 days ago now, the situation changed again.
Right! Mr. Natsume's trial, which took place here at the Old Bailey, came to an end.
The trial in which this man stood accused of stabbing Miss Green in the back, but was duly acquitted.
That resulted in Mr. Natsume returning to his lodgings for the first time in 2 days. And that very night, his gas stove mysteriously went out, and Mr. Shamspear was mysteriously poisoned. In conclusion, the poison that was present on the mouth of the gas pipe had been put there in the victim's room for some 4 days earlier. Mary! With that new understanding, it becomes clear that this letter was all part of the plan.
What plan?
The court will recall that the note gave instructions to visit Slug and Salad at 5 o'clock, and that the recipient should tell nobody else. The reason for those instructions are now clear.
To ensure that the lodger would not be at home at the stated time.
To make sure I wasn't home? Exactly. While you were out, Miss Green could safely slip into your room, knowing that she wouldn't be disturbed. You mean to say that letter was written by Miss Green? Yes. And in order to cover her tracks, she took it away with her when she left. Just after she smeared poison all over the mouth of the gas pipe in your room.
Order! Order! What do you have to say for yourself, witness?
Just who are you? Why did you try to kill me? Miss Green's motive should be obvious. It's all tied up with someone whose name we've heard several times already during the course of this trial.
So, that's what's behind all this.
You will share your apparent understanding with the court, please, counsel. Which person is behind this woman's motive for the attack on the victim's life?
Well, it can only be...
Take that!
Duncan Ross?
That's right. Before the defendant, Mr. Natsume took up residence in the lodgings at Mr. Garanev's. Somebody else was renting the room. Mr. Duncan Ross.
I knew I heard that name somewhere else. It was all over the papers a month ago, when the man died in strange circumstances at the haunted lodgings.
That does ring a vague... Oh! Of course! Yes! I remember now. The young man they claimed was strangled by the convict's curse or some such.
Sadly, my lord, it wasn't a curse of any kind, nor was it an accident. The man died as a result of Mr. Shamsphere's blowing into the gas pipe and causing gas to leak into the room. It was murder, plain and simple. Ah!
Well, what do you know? The world is so unfair. Curses, curious deaths. That's all people care about. If it's an interesting story, they want to know. It doesn't cross their minds that real people are involved. And once they're bored, just 1 month later, once the story's lost its appeal, everyone's forgotten him.
You mean you? Duncan was... Miss Ross was Miss Green's fiance. Oh, Mr. God damn it! I read that. So wow, I'm bad at reading right now. Holy shit! And then a really good dramatic motive. God damn it! Mr. Ross was Miss Green's fiance. Fiance? You may not have known until now who Miss Green was. Miss Green really is, Mr. Champsphere. But she's known exactly who you are all along. Because you're her sworn enemy. The murderer who took the life of the man she was to marry. Marry? Miss Green is not the case. That in order to exact Oh, I read that. Oh, Miss Green, is it not the case that in order to exact revenge on Mr. Champsphere, you smeared poison over the end of the gas pipe
This is all quite extraordinary. Am I correct in my understanding that you now accuse both parties, counsel? Each on different counts of murder?
Yes, my lord. That is correct.
Objection!
Inhaling so deeply,
It appears that my fledgling learned friend has taken in a lungful of dubious gas that's causing his judgment to be clouded.
What?
Why would Mr. Shamsphere have wanted to kill these lodgers, as you say? You have completely failed to provide a motive to substantiate your accusation against the man.
Yes, yes! That's right, Mr. Reaper, my liege! I have been slighted! 'Tis lies, all lies! I deny every utterance!
And you'll have to forgive me, Mr. Norohodo, sir. But I don't intend to admit to anything either.
Miss Green.
I'm sure you'll think I'm being very rude, but I'm not going to be sent to the gallows for the likes of this scoundrel.
Objection!
But you broke into the man's room! If you didn't do it to smear poison on the pipe, what was your reason?
Thought I'd have a look around. That's all.
I'm sorry?
You're right, I suspected him. So I thought perhaps I might find some evidence or something in his room. Evidence that it was him who took Duncan's life.
Oh vileness! Oh villainy! Oh tyranny! Oh rotundity of women! But in any case, whenever I leave my room, I do turn the key in the lock.
That whole place is falling apart. The locks on the doors are no different. Duncan showed me once how to unlock the door with some turps and a piece of wire.
Oh awfulness! Oh awfulness! Oh tyranny! Oh profanity of women!
We will consider your trespassing on some future occasion, but for now, tell the court what you found. What evidence your search revealed.
Kiro! Thank you for the raid! Welcome, Raiders! Hello! I am URAunitB. Or URAunitB. Welcome to stream. I'm playing The Great Ace Attorney, but Chronicles, but it's the second game in the series because this game comes with 2 games, and I am on the second case. I am enjoying the trial quite a lot, Kiro. I am enjoying it quite a lot. How was Octopath today? Is my bot not working? Oh, I'm dumb. Hold on. Let me let me remember to turn on my chat bot because I'm apparently dumb and didn't have that on the entire fucking time. Give it a second. Give it a second. Don't mind me drawing out this tensionous moment. I'm sorry. Octopath was good. We're making great progress. Nice. I'm very excited to play it eventually. I need to get through my huge checklist of things to do. So I'm really hoping to get through all of that before I can start playing, you know? Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Exactly. For I am the great and powerful Oz! Or something, you know? But yeah, I'm glad you're having fun, Kiro. Keela's also having fun, and I'm very excited to try it out later. So, yeah. I hope you keep on having fun. But yeah, if you don't know me at this point, I'm URAunitB or Drago. I'm a variety streamer. I use this dragon avatar because everybody uses my nickname Drago, and it just seems very convenient, you know? It makes a lot more sense. But yeah, I'm just in this court and we're like, I think we're like near the end of it. So like, and I'm doing a lot of voice acting. I'm doing every voice in the narration. So I'll enjoy or
If you don't like it, then I'm sorry. But yeah, let's get back to the case, shall we?
Well, I spotted the note that I'd sent him lying on the floor. When I went to pick it up, I noticed something. One of the floorboards was loose, and underneath it, I discovered a secret hiding place.
Yes, we also discovered that hiding place.
Inside, inside we found a newspaper cutting, a photograph, and an empty box. An empty tin box. Ah, yes, well, the thing is, when I found it, the box wasn't empty.
What? There was something in it?
Yes.
Oh.
This rather nice key.
Ah! What are you doing with it? What the?
Every ounce of color has drained from his face.
Give it here! Give it to me now! It's mine! I inherited it!
What was that, witness? What did you say? You inherited it?
No, What's all this about? He inherited that key?
It was obviously important to you, since you'd gone to such lengths to hide it. So I took it. I don't know what it's for, but you took something precious from me, so I took something precious from you. So what if it means you can't open something now? I don't care.
Give it back this minute! Give it to me!
Calm yourself, witness.
So, Mr. Shamsphere has tried, and in one case succeeded, to take the life of 2 lodgers now. Yes, his motive for doing so is the key to everything that's happened. It's true that there appears to be no motives to support this accusation against Mr. Shamsphere at first. But considering everything we know now, I think there is actually something that could explain it.
What?
I need to recall every piece of evidence at our disposal. Everything we've seen and heard. Because I'm sure that I just caught a glimpse of the link that runs through all of these events.
In that case, counsel, I demand that you present evidence to the court in support of your claim. What is it that you can say? What is it that you say can explain the motivation for Mr. Shamsphere's alleged crimes?
I didn't mean to press A. Well, we kind of have this fat case file about a treasure.
Take that!
That's an official police report, is it not? The Selden file? How did you get a hold of that?
Selden? The now sadly deceased Mr. Ross and the defendant, Mr. Natsume, have only one thing linking them. The fact that they had lodgings in the same room.
Well, yes. We know this certainly.
A room that was formerly occupied by Selden. Until that is, he was arrested by Scotland Yard for his involvement in multiple burglaries.
I see.
And it so happens that the convict Selden left behind one very substantial mystery when he died.
The some 1,000 pounds worth of loot that he has stolen, which as yet remains to be found.
Ah, yes, of course. It's coming back to me now. It's written in this file here.
1,000 pounds lost en route to hell. That was how the papers summed it up.
And it seems that one particular fellow inmate was with the convict in his final moments. It's not hard to imagine Selden entrusting that inmate with his most closely guarded secret. The location of the stolen loot. And perhaps a key to unlock whatever container the valuables were in.
You mean this key is?
Mr. Shamsphere, it was you, wasn't it? You were at the capital offender's side when he died, were you not?
What are you talking about? 'Tis a false charge, I tell you! A false charge!
The name of the inmate who was with Miss Selden at his death isn't noted in this file. But a simple telegram to the prison where he died would quickly tell us how false the charge really is.
But even if it's true, why would the man be so intent on killing every subsequent occupant of the convict's lodgings?
There's only one explanation for that, my lord. It was in that very room that Selden hid his loot.
So, it all comes out.
Yes, and having established that, all of Mr. Shamsphere's subsequent actions start to make perfect sense.
When he was let out of prison following Selden's death, he made immediately for Mr. Gerdeb's lodgings in the hope of renting Selden's old room. However, the retired man was unable to offer him the accommodation of his choice.
Because Selden's old room had already been let to somebody else, Mr. Duncan Ross.
Which is why Mr. Shamsphere subsequently devised his gas-based plot to kill the occupant of the room. And when he was successful, he presumably intended to inquire about switching into the newly vacant room.
However, a certain jittery someone had beaten him to it.
Mr. Saseki Natsume, the defendant of this case, no less.
So you decided to use the ploy with the gas again, didn't you, Mr. Shamsphere? This time to oust Mr. Natsume. All for one simple and avaricious reason. To get your hands on the 1,000 pounds of loot left behind by the dead convict.
He's dead. It's over.
Looks like I'm gonna snuff it. Listen.
Oh no. Oh, this is the guy. His room. Oh.
I want you to have me loot. Anything to stop the coppers. He's sitting in the room where I was lodging when they got me. Yeah, this is the key to it. Take it. Always stay one step ahead, mate. See ya in hell, I guess. Shamsphere.
It's mine.
What did he just say?
It's mine. That loot is mine.
Oh dear God, he's crazy. Oh dear God, he's crazy. Mr. Shamsphere?
It's all lies. I don't accept any of it. Why should I? After all, you don't have a shred of evidence. You can't prove I killed that fellow. Forsooth, I'm the victim here, remember? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? If I don't admit to it, there's nothing you can do.
Kefka? Oh. Should I switch to a Kefka voice? Wait, hold on. How does Kefka talk in Dissidia?
You'll be well done!
Something like that, right, I think? Is how he talks in Dissidia?
If I don't admit to it, there's nothing you can do! You can't arrest me, for the time being, anyway. Verily, you can't arrest the victim, can you? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? I'm so close! I just need a few more hours. I swore to myself that I'd get my hands on it, and I can almost taste it now. Do you really think I'd just give up?
There's no question in my mind now. This man is guilty, through and through!
But he seems so utterly intoxicated by the idea of that loot. I'm afraid that, however hard you press him, he'll never admit to what he's done, Mr. Naruhodo.
There is a way.
Pardon?
There's one way I can finish him.
No.
He's already committed the most heinous crimes to get his hands on that loot. Which means all we need to do is find it first! Oh, torture. Torture would have been a great idea, but no. Unfortunately. I mean... fortunately, it's not torture. Definitely not... Anyway.
A fine plan. Were not for the fact that the police thoroughly searched the room following the death of Mr. Ross. If it's there at all, it must be very well hidden indeed.
Brandishes my apothecary axe. Yeah! I hope your low health, Kiro, so that it does as maximum damage as possible. Bonk. Confess!
Without conclusive evidence, I certainly cannot rule.
If only there was some way we could find the convict's loot quickly.
This is the final piece in this complex puzzle. But I think we might have it in our possession already. Or, rather, I think we may well have something that can help us find where the loot is hidden. My lord.
Yes, counsel?
The defense would like to make a proposal about how to find the late convict's hidden loot. I believe we're already in possession of something that could give us a clue as to where its whereabouts. Look at him go. It's our last chance, so it has to be worth a gamble. Besides, we've used the same technique once already, and it definitely paid off then.
Very well then, counsel. Let the court hear your idea. What do you propose we use in order to locate the hiding place of the deceased convicts? How?
Before I present this evidence, I'm actually getting contacted by somebody at work, and I think I have to do this call immediately. It shouldn't be that long. Sorry for this. Real quick. Sorry, it's a little scuffed, but yeah, this seems to be an important work call that I have to do. So let me do that really quick. Sorry. Okay. I'll mute for a bit, but enjoy this.
Okay, sorry about that. I was trying to promote something at work, and then I accidentally put the wrong project name. So then my coworker was asking for clarification, the actual name of the project. Anyways, so that was my bad. But anyways, yeah, back to this. So, what do we propose that we can use in order to locate the hiding place of the deceased convict's hull? Well, I don't know, we kind of have this weird, handprint stuff, you know?
Take that!
If I'm not mistaken, those are Mr. Shamspeare's handprints on the wall of his lodgings.
That's right, my lord. Exposed as a result of the defense's independent investigation of the scene.
Based on a wonderful new discovery in the field of forensic science by the great detective, Mr. Sholmes. A great detective? Is that some kind of joke? Do you really think I'm gonna be daunted by a man with such a ridiculous title?
I should think that the Great Bard ought to recognize a title when he hears one, Mr. Shamspeare? Who's talking? Oh, him. Oh, god damn it.
I should think the great bard ought to recognize such a title when he hears one, Mr. Shamspeare. Perhaps we should compete for the honor of most ridiculous title.
Ah! 'Tis Herlock Sholmes himself!
What are you doing here, great detective? Your usual haunts are the filthy back streets of the capital, are they not?
Ah, Mr. Reaper, it's been too long. And I see your complexion has worsened since last we met.
Mr. Sholmes? How does he know Lord Van Zeeks, then? Well enough to say something like that in any case.
Mr. Sholmes, though you may be heralded as a great detective by the population at large, that does not give you the right to come and go in my courtroom as you see fit.
If I may, my lord. Mr. Sholmes' newly developed scientific method has helped us to uncover vital clues in this case already.
Clues, you say? I call them skin prints, my lord. My method identifies every location touched by an individual under scrutiny. It's the method by which we were able to ascertain this gentleman's gas piping activities. You need only a small sample of something the individual has previously touched to make an indicator solution.
Oh, wait, I understand why picking that picture is a really good idea. It's because if we use the solution on the key, that was previously held by Selden, then we can identify where that Selden has touched in Natsume's room. Right? That's my assumption.
In your case, sir, I used the teacup you had been holding. Elementary. So now, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes!
What am I to use as a sample to make the indicator solution this time?
Thank you for offering your to help, Mr. Sholmes. When the convict was arrested, he was living in what is now Saseki-san's room. We need a sample to help locate Selden's loot that's hidden in the old room. What form will the sample take?
Well, I mean, Olive has the key, so.
We will need something of Selden's in order to create the indicator solution to find his loot. And something the convict owned happens to be in the possession of somebody listed in the court record.
Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, your powers of reasoning appear to be on the up. So, which particular person do you have in mind? From whom can we obtain a possession of the late convict Selden to create the indicator solution?
Take that!
Miss Green.
Huh? May? What do you want with May?
The key around your neck, if you please.
Sorry?
That key belonged to Selden. There will be remnants of secretions from the man's skin on its surface that we can use.
Very true.
That is the sample we need. Using it, we can create the indicator solution required for Mr. Sholmes' skin print seeker. And find out exactly what Selden touched in the room that he used to rent. Ah!
Mr. Shamsphere, as one grade to another, I assure you. If the late convict's hall is hidden somewhere in his former lodgings, I shall uncover it in no more than 30 minutes.
So, Mr. Shamsphere, the truth is well within our grasp now, and as such, you will never get your hands on Selden's stolen wealth.
In that case, I'll gladly let Mr. Sholmes have this key.
No! Give the key to me! The detective should have it! It's over, Mr. Shamsphere. No! No! You're out of options now. There's only one thing left for you to do. Admit your guilt! Whoa! Oh, shameful spear! Despair! Be thy name! Oh my god, he's being shot. God damn it. I'm gonna miss this idiot. Unless he shows up again. Alright, time to switch back. I never intended to kill the man. I just wanted to drive him out of the room, that's all. Such a memorable character. He really is. I enjoy him so much. So, you'd have time to find the convict's haul of stolen goods?
Yet after you killed the young man, you still didn't move into the room.
I asked the landlord, of course. I pleaded with him, but he refused. Why? I was 3 months behind with the rent, for one thing. Mr. Garradeb really has had a lot to put up with. And he had the gas repair work done immediately afterwards, putting the room out of action for a while. And then this Japanese man swooped in at just the right moment to sign the new lease. Poor Mr. Natsume. What unfortunate timing. Then 5 days ago, after the incident on Briar Road, when the Japanese fellow got himself arrested, I thought I'd finally have my chance. But it wasn't to be.
No, the scene was sealed off and guarded by the police night and day.
And, if I remember rightly, Mr. Sholmes spent the whole day in there reading books. I couldn't even enter the room, let alone search for the loot. Which is why, on the day Mr. Natsume was acquitted and returned to his room, you once again tried your trick of blowing air into the gas pipe that feeds the stove in his room.
Unbeknownst to you, however, that action would lead you into a deadly trap.
William Shamsphere. How does it go? To be or not to be? That is the question.
From Shakespeare's Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1.
Well, let me tell you in your case. It's not to be. That is the answer. You deserve to die for what you've done.
And now he's Depresso Espresso.
At first, I really did think it was just a terrible accident. I'll never forget our conversation the night before Duncan died. The gas supply in my new lodgings are a complete disaster, you know, Olaf. The gas supply? Yes, the stove always seems to go out in the middle of the night for some reason. That's no joke. They say it's the convict's curse. Oh, Duncan, please, don't stay there. I don't care how cheap it is. Alright then, if that's that important to you, I'll start looking for a new place. There are spare rooms at my house. Why don't you leave that horrible room tonight? No, I'd better not. We said we wait until we graduated before we told our parents, remember? But that was the last time we ever spoke. That very night he fell victim to the gas. If only I'd known it was going to happen, I'd have insisted he left that horrible room that instant. But instead, all I've been left with is bitter regret. I stopped going to school, but something kept drawing me back to the house on Briar Road. And that bar of soap on the wall. I saw a stooped Eastern-looking man with a mustache coming out of the house one day when I was there. He walked up the road to Grubb's Grubbery for some food. So I followed him and sat myself down next to him. He had some watery-looking soup and started to pick a quarrel with the publican.
This place is cursed, I tell you! Cursed! The ghost of that convict who used to live there is trying to suffocate me! I woke up in the middle of the night, freezing to death because the stove has gone out. The room is full of gas, and I can hardly breathe. But the pipes have been checked. No problem there. It's like I'm the problem. That's what they're thinking. But how could that be?
Duncan was gone, and now this man had almost suffered the same fate. Could it really be a curse? Then I remembered. A rumor I'd heard about how the gas companies go around investigating the gas installations.
A rumor? Ah, you mean...
Yes, everybody's heard the stories, it seems, about how they go around checking the pipes.
How everything connected to the gas can be extinguished by blowing air into the pipework.
That's when it started. A little flicker of doubt in the back of my mind that just wouldn't go away. Was it really an accident, though? Once I'd had the idea, it wouldn't leave me alone. It plagued me day and night. So I bought this at one of the black markets in the East End.
That's very convenient. Thank you, black market, I guess. A black market?
I'd never been. I'd just heard people talk about them, and you really can buy anything you can think of there. In some ways, being able to get my hands on this so easily made me even more determined. I had to find out one way or another. Was Duncan's death an accident? Or was it murder?
And your chosen method for establishing the truth was simple, but highly effective. Smear poison on the gas pipe you suspected the man of tampering with. And wait.
If Mr. Shamspeare was innocent, nothing would come of what you'd done. But if he was guilty, he would pay for his crimes dearly.
I found out the name of the man I suspected. William Shamspeare. And then I wrote him this little note. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road on 5 p.m. on 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. If he'd have done it, I knew that he would that would worry him enough worry him enough so he'd be sure to go. So I waited to see if it worked.
And of course, Mr. Shamsphere followed the instructions to the letter.
I worked out where the gas pipe was straight away. So I smeared a good amount of the poison I brought all around the mouth of the pipe. All the time praying that the devil's work wouldn't be done and that it was all just some wild fantasy. Actually, no. All the time praying that the devil's work wouldn't be done and that the culprit would get his just deserts.
Damn, she bloodthirsty. Damn. Cold.
3 days ago, when you were first stood in the dock before me, this whole affair seemed relatively straightforward. Yes, my lord. I certainly never imagined the depths of depravity that we should subsequently find lurking behind the scenes.
It has been a long road, my Nipponese friend.
Oh, yes!
And one I certainly didn't envision walking with you.
Nevertheless, together we have reached the light at the end of the tunnel, as it were. Miss Green,
Yes, my lord.
you will henceforth be stripped of your freedom as punishment for the attempted murder of Mr. William Shamsphere.
Yes, I know.
And you, Mr. Shamsphere, you will be tried for the murder of Mr. Duncan Ross in cold blood, and the subsequent attempted murder of Mr. Soseki Natsume here present.
Mr. Naruhodo,
Yes?
yesterday at the hospital, when you and your friend stopped me from...
From ending your life by drinking what was left in the poison bottle?
I wasn't myself. I can't even really remember what was going through my mind. To be or not to be, I suppose. That's a question that's so hard to answer, it seems.
Well, personally, I'm glad of your being here, Miss Green.
Oh,
And I'd like to believe that it's a blessing Mr. Shamsphere didn't die when he ingested the poison. For your sake, at the very least. Aww.
because of you, I chose life, not death. And now you've made the truth come out at last. Really, I can't thank you enough. Oh, Miss Green.
Mr. Soseki Natsume. Yes, my lord. The court declares that you are exonerated from all blame in this matter. Accordingly, I would call upon the ladies and gentlemen of the jury to present a verdict of not guilty.
We are in full agreement, my lord.
In that case, I declare the defendant.
Yay! Woo! This is a really good chapter.
Court is adjourned.
I'm so happy that this game exists. It's so fucking good. And 'tis only chapter 2, indeed, my good sir. Beautiful.
Oh, yes. Yes. At last. Divine justice duly done! Divine justice? My dear fellow, if there were any divine justice in this world, you would have shaved that. You would shave that mustache. No! This has nothing to do with my mustache.
Some say that a luxuriant mustache is a sign of physical prowess, Mr. Sholm.
Welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Once again, you've saved me from doom.
I'm very happy to have been able to help, Mr. Natsume. Congratulations on your acquittal. Your second in almost as many days.
I was first acquainted with and gained affection for English literature whilst in our great homeland empire. And then, by a twist of fate, I was brought to the land that bore the fruit of that literature. Only, the city of bricks and mortar became my prison. Try as I might, I never found my fate here. In the end, I confined myself to my room and lived life through friendly old books.
You've had such a difficult time, haven't you?
Ah, but a week ago now, I dragged you out of that dark and dingy room of yours, did I not? You did. And I've seen more of life in this week than I had all my years to date. And for the first time, I feel I've begun to see the true face of the English that's so far been hiding from me behind the wall of fog. My dear fellow, there is nothing special about the true face of the English as you put it. Wheresoever one goes in the world, humans are human. There are few genuine differences. Yes, I think you're right. I've finally started to see that, and I've come to understand something. I've worked out why I was attracted to English literature in the first place. It made me see that whatever our nationality, we humans all have the same hopes and fears. We're all just doing our best to live.
Well said. I've come to feel the same way.
I've made a decision too. I'm going to cut short my study tour here and return to Japan.
What?
Just when we become friends here in England? What a terrible shame.
Oh, I know. That does tug at my heartstrings. It really does. But I've decided I'd like to take everything I've learned here in Britain and write something of my own. Novel of sorts, I suppose.
Oh my. So you'll be creating your own literature, Mr. Natsume? How wonderful.
Oh, well, no, I mean, I wouldn't presume to call it literature.
Why not? Oh god, I swallowed spit real quick. Oh god, I'm sorry.
Why not? When that is precisely the definition, Mr. Mustache. I suppose you're right. Yes, it will, in a way, be literature. But as of now, all I know is that I'd like to try my hand at writing. I have no delusions of grandeur.
I, for one, would love to read your work.
Well, all things considered, it may be for the best. After all, you have once again emerged victorious from a battle with the Reaper.
Ah! That's very true.
And there is no salvation for a person in the dock when the Reaper is the prosecutor.
The desire to return post-haste to the perceived safety of your homeland is one I quite understand.
My goodness, yes! Faced with such a terrifying prospect.
Nobody would consider that cowardly, I'm quite sure.
But that's not why I'm leaving. I mean it.
Oh, and that was the case that we found ourselves embroiled in 6 months ago now. I still can't believe this is a flashback to a case that apparently just didn't get covered in the first game. So Seki-san did indeed return to Japan and submitted a report about both cases to the government. It was on reading that report that that Professor Mikotoba was prompted to visit the scholar. And barely any time later, Susato-san was given the news that she must return home to Japan as well. On the back of a telegram stating falsely that her father had fallen gravely ill. The only possible explanation that comes to mind is what happened after the trial, on the following day. The day that we uncovered the loot, hidden by the now deceased convict in his former lodgings. Oh, is there more? Oh, there is more. Dang, I thought we were like on the wrap-up part.
Oh, well done, Mr. Sholmes. How simply marvelous of you. To uncover the secret hiding place in just 1 day.
Wasn't it supposed to take 30 minutes?
As I believe I told you, my dear fellows, skin prints are extremely useful in such situations. Wouldn't you agree, Gregson?
Gregsy's been happily munching agreement this whole time, you know, Hurley. Happily? I think perhaps humorlessly might be closer to the truth.
So, it transpires the man fashioned a hiding place in the ceiling.
And what's in it? What exactly is the loot?
Let us look then, if you're ready.
Let's examine the late burglar's hole. I want it to be taffy for some reason. What the? What is that? What?
It looks to be some sort of neckband or collar.
With a big B on it. With blood on it. Like for a hound, per se. Of Baskerville. A collar? It's huge, though.
And look at all the gemstones set in it. I can see why it was claimed to be worth £1,000. Perhaps I could have it as a belt. Oh, have you noticed on the inside there? There are some dark stains.
You don't think it could be blood, do you? I mean, there's quite a lot of it.
On second thoughts, perhaps I won't have it as a belt.
Oh, Iris was talking earlier. I fucked up.
Then, of course, there's this emblem here. A large letter B and a small crown.
Oh no. What does it signify, do you think?
Oh, I hadn't noticed that. I feel as though I've seen that emblem somewhere before, you know? Where could it have been?
That's enough of that, I think.
What? What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes? All the color is drained from his face. Oh no.
Well, Inspector, I believe you ought to be taking this, aren't you? Oughtn't you? It could be valuable evidence, after all.
It must be kept safely under lock and key.
Ah, Yes. Get your grubby hands off it, you lot, and hand it over, now!
Sus, 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 sus. I've never seen a collar that large before. And all those jewels certainly look to be extremely valuable. And that's not what stood out the most to me. At least, not once I noticed it. Those dark marks on the inside of the collar. Those stains. Could they really have been blood?
Well, that was a funny case, wasn't it? But it's all buttoned up now.
And you look very pleased, Iris!
I am, because I was starting to wonder what I could use as the basis of this month's story in the magazine. But this case will be perfect. It's been so fascinating.
You're talking about the latest installment of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I presume?
The mystery of the knife in the mist, and the mustached man in the convict's curse, perhaps. I could make it a 2-part story. Oh, I can't wait.
A word, please, Iris.
Yes? What is it, Hurley?
I'm sorry, but you can't write about this case. It's out of the question.
What? Why not? It's a great case.
Then I shall have to insist that you limit yourself to the first of your 2 titles. The second must never be written. Is that clear?
Yes.
Sus, 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 sus,
And
sus.
so it was that the second of Saul
Oh, good, he's
Citizen's
talking.
cases became buried in obscurity. Now, looking back, I feel I understand. I can see why Mr. Sholmes forbade Iris from publishing the story. It would take a little longer before I saw the link between everything that had happened and would happen.
You know, listening to this voice actor, he kind of reminds me of Hermes.
For it wasn't until 2 months after the arrival of Susato-san's letter that events began to unfurl again, with an incident that took place at the very heart
A little
of
less
the
gruff,
eagerly
though.
awaited Great Exhibition of
In the
London.
terms of the voice delivery, tone and delivery. Well, we did it. We finished episode 2. Man, that was a great case. It definitely, like, really made me want to, like, come back to it, like, as much as possible. And that's a good calling of a good case. I enjoy the fact that it's a flashback case of anything, like, going back to the first game, and it's the between period that we don't see, too. So it's really interesting that they went for that angle. And it's like a justified attempted murder, as well as an accidental murder and an accidental possible attempted murder on the second person from the actual perpetrator. Like, there's definitely no intention for murder in this case, but yeah, that was very cool. I thought that this was really well done, and then it even does the whole theme of, like, hey, there's actually gonna be, like, the whole theme of this case is that you might get information on the surface, but there sure is shit that's hidden beneath it, and we have this whole overarching thing so far of there's something that, like, Susato's dad is hiding, it seems like, back in Japan after what we saw in the first, like, opening case. And then, like, from the last game we know that it seems like Sholmes is hiding a lot of things about this Baskerville stuff. And then, like, in this game, once again it comes in that he's hiding information about Baskerville, and now he wants to hide this whole Natsume case from happening. And it's just, yeah, it's really cool. It's like, hey, here's a smaller mystery,
But here's the bigger overarching one. It's tying into this theme. It's really good. Like, this is gonna be the overall theme of this game. Is just this shit be hiding on the surface, you know? So I think that's really good, and it really works well. Yeah, where they actually all tie together. It's perfect. Ah, so cool though. So cool. And then like the whole bit with the like why does he have soap on his plate? Why does he have a fork? Was he trying to eat soap? And it's just like, oh no, he put indents into soap as molds for fake coins so that he can put them into a gas thing because he has like no money to his name, and then the ice coins melt. It's so good. Like, what the fuck? And then yeah, exactly, Kira, and just the murder victim not actually being murdered, and him waking up literally as you're investigating in the middle of the cutscene, like, huh? And then he testifies in court, and then the victim from the case of the previous game comes back, and then it turns out she isn't, and it's like, yeah, she's not dead. We established that in the other game, but like, now she's here, and it's so fucking good. Like, it's so well written, and like everything in this game is like actually believable, other than like maybe the Shulb stuff with the devices. But like, those device stuff is like, it's believable, but it's also like on the side of, yeah, that technology is a bit much. But like, you know, yeah, skin prints. That was an interesting one. But like, yeah, everything in this game is like plausible, which is like not a thing that's like ever the case in like any other Ace Attorney game, which is really, really funny to me. like you would think, oh, this is the Great Ace Attorney, This is based off of the ancestors of Phoenix Wright and everybody in the games, and it's like, oh, okay, so is there gonna be like spirit mediums in this game? And it's like, no. You just have a competent legal assistant, you have competent detectives, you have competent policemen, you have competent other help. This is the look at how much this game breaks from the norm. It's so good. What do you mean spirit mediums are plausible? Shut up, Cam. But yeah, this game is super good. I really want to see where it goes. And then, like, I'm seeing Mr. Kiro say that episode 3 is his favorite, so that's something to look forward to. So yeah, I'm very excited to see like where this all ends up, because like, my god, there's a lot of mystery setups, and like there's gonna be a good payoff, I feel like, at the end. So like, we just gotta get there eventually. It is an Ace Attorney game though, so it's a lot of reading, but it's a lot of fun reading. I don't know who really is like, I don't know how many people really pay attention all the time, but like, I hope you enjoyed the voice acting. I'm trying my best to like diversify as much as possible, but it's really fun to read because all the characters are just so different. Like, the jury is really fun because there's like a whole bunch of them and they're very different, and then the judge is fun because he's both not stupid, but he's also stupid, but he's like way more competent than like any judge in like any of the Ace Attorney games. The prosecutor is like really terrifying compared to like most of the other prosecutors. And then like, yeah, all the side characters are designed well. They have like fun things. They're not like, not all their names are like obviously puns, like most Ace Attorney games do. Which is fun. But like, I like how like a lot more focuses on like more of the character design and like what their dialogue says with their character design. You know, like how the gas lady is designed like a bee, and she has an umbrella that looks like the stinger, and her dialogue like even makes references to being like the bee stuff. Like, I'll sting them with my my other end or whatever, and like all her worker bees are the gas men. It's like, it's so good. Like, it's so good. It's so fucking good. And then like, fucking this guy, Mr. Shansphere, is like the like probably the most fun, like, goofy character in an Ace Attorney game that I've liked in a while. He's like if he's like if they got Mo and they made Mo good. I mean, I like Mo in AA2. Like, I like him for different reasons, but like for like a goof, he's supposed to be a goofy character, but I feel like yeah, talking about Shamta, but yeah, I feel like Shansphere really captures that goofy character more, and he actually has like a really good heel turn at the end where he goes nutso, but like yeah, I feel like it's probably like one of the better executed ones out of all the goofy characters. And it's not like a goofy character that's like has weird quirks like the weird perverted people in the other Ace Attorney game that are goofy but also apparently perverted or something, you know? But yeah. Okay, at this point I'm just rambling, but yeah, in summary, good game, good chapter so far, good characters. I think it's probably the best Ace Attorney games so far out of like every, like out of the entire, even the trilogy. I think this is way better than the trilogy so far, which is pretty great. But yeah, thank you all for coming, and I think I see a raid target, and a certain bartender dragon, whose birthday it is for the next 15 minutes in that time zone. For me, it's like another 2 hours and 15 minutes left, but like, yeah, I think we got a good raid target in. Miss Kip Sintama, Miss Kip of Bar Sintamani. It is Kip's birthday. Please say happy birthday. And Kip is also doing Radio Kip right now. Karaoke. So please enjoy Kip's good karaoke. Also, thank you for the posture check, Taylor or Red. Oh, Red, actually, if you're not busy, I kind of want to. We can hang out later too. But yeah, anyways, yeah. I hope you all enjoy your time over at Kip's. But yeah. Laters to all of you.